Our new partner who I'm really, really excited to announce we are working with. Super, super stoked. Thank you, Angie Huberman, for this connect. It's incredible. AG1 Athletic Greens. I've been using them for a while. I have them every morning on an empty stomach. Basically, take one scoop and you put it into a cup or glass or mug of 8 ounces of cold water. And this is all your greens for the day. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Every day I take this. It's so good for my digestion, my energy. It's simple. It's easy. I don't like taking a lot of vitamins. This has been really, really helpful for me. I've had a lot of stomach issues my whole life, and ever since I've been gluten-free and taking the AG1s, it's really helped me in my stomach in the mornings. I love it, and I'm so psyched that they're part of the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm sure a lot of people don't like eating greens, let alone drinking your greens, but I can tell you straight up, it's got a mild tropical taste, and the taste is actually really refreshing, and I really look forward to it each morning. Don't think it's just going to be just straight bland. It tastes really, really good, and it's good for you, so remember that. This one blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's incredible, just one scoop, especially for musicians who are vegans or just musicians in general who want to get those daily greens. You can get the packets. It's incredible. I just gave some to my friend Derek from Sepultura. He traveled the whole entire world this summer, and he had those every single day. He said it saved him. I bring AG1s with me when I travel. It helps me stay healthy. You know the deal. If you're on tour and you are a picky eater, but you need to have your greens, sometimes catering doesn't have greens. Sometimes you miss the catering. Sometimes you miss the backstage food. Sometimes it's too late after the show to go get food that you like. So if you just have a scoop of AG1s in your hotel room before you go to bed, or you're in the hotel room at night and you're starving and you want something healthy, boom, life changer. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with some convenient daily nutrition. That's all you need, one scoop in a cup every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. This is it. I'm super psyched. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. This is incredible. I love it. It's just basic greens. For me personally, this has changed my life tremendously. I'm not a junk food vegan. I don't eat a lot of fake meats, so I'm strictly greens. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful new addition to my life. So once again, visit drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Get 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115. With the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. And if you want to get water, Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for merchandise and other things that's not water, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.
See, I don't know if we're recording yet. I saw a very funny tweet this morning because I guess MGK dissed Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we've been watching
I saw it.
It said, yo, MGK turns into Rakim when it's time to diss a white rapper, and that shit made me cry, bro.
We're recording this, so this is good. I'm not going to lie, though. The MGK freestyle he showed on the Jay-Z, it wasn't that bad, man.
Nah, he was barring off.
Yeah.
He was barring off.
Yep.
It's some serious,
I always say this. Out of anyone that's ever battled Eminem, I feel like MGA bitch.
You said MGA.
I said MGK,
Okay.
but you cut me off.
Go ahead.
You say MGA.
That's how the podcast is started, by the way. Go ahead.
That was a great. I'm not usually like that.
It's all good.
This is going to be awesome.
No, out of all those, out of anyone that's battled Eminem, he was the only one that actually brought like legit bars.
100%.
Yeah,
I think he actually like had Like, I actually liked his diss track.
Just your beard is weird goes down in history.
Yeah. People, people say it all the time.
Yeah.
People say your beard is weird all the time.
And it's stupid. It just works.
It's like a meme now.
And it's weird because I'm thinking Derek's an MGK fan because you're from Cleveland, but it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, he was there after I left. So
Yeah.
I don't really know him like that.
But Jack Harlow, he's incredible too,
no,
though.
they're both incredible, actually.
He is.
And they were boys too before.
Yeah, that's
Were
what I
they?
showed you.
Yeah. They were doing a song together.
Yeah.
He showed me the freestyle to his big song. Yeah. They were boys.
I like Wild Boy by MGK. With Waka. That is my
With Waka
song.
Flocka?
Yeah,
Oh,
that is my
shit.
song. That's like back in the day. Not back in the day, but it was a minute ago.
Yo, I like
That's like 2012.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that
This
was
is a
sick.
sick intro. I love when Waka Flocka was vegan. I'd see him in all the restaurants, and then all the vegans started saying like you can't wear leather, and he tweeted, he's like, "Fuck veganism, you guys are worse than the Nazis."
That is
Yo,
crazy.
Waka Flocka was done with it. Vegans are the worst on vegans.
Obviously, he
Yeah.
knows very little about Nazis.
Oh,
Very little.
Very little.
okay. Let me do my
That's
intro because this
good.
podcast has already started already. But okay, welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host Toby Morse. Very special day today. I got two fucking co-hosts in here with one microphone. My producer Joe, don't kill me. I got my man Derek Green, Sepultura, with a bad back going on tour tomorrow. Derek, thank you for being here.
Put my news out there. Damn.
And
My
then,
back hurts. I need a back out of me.
and then my brother from another mother, up on the mic, Chappelle Lacey.
Yeah.
And you just announced your podcast is back. Your first podcast started
Yeah,
today.
I'm doing a new podcast, Lesser Known Characters, with my boy Joel Jimenez.
And that's a lyric from a Rancid song, by the way. Yes. And then, welcome to the podcast. So psyched to have them here. Two members of Zulu. We got Dez and we got Braxton here today. Thank you guys both for being here, man.
It's popping.
Thank you for having us.
2/3 of the string section here.
Yes, this is so awesome. And my man Hakim pulled up. He gave these guys some wisdom.
Yep.
No,
Fucking-
for real. Honestly.
Off the bat, schooled me
Yeah.
2 seconds into it. I like that though.
Yeah.
He's awesome, man.
Nah,
Slow
yeah.
it down, young man. Slow
He's a
it down.
Buddhist. He's my running guru. He's
Yeah,
fucking. He's legit.
Nah, that's
Slow
cool. If I'm the most wise in the room, something's wrong. So I'm glad I can
No,
walk
literally,
into that.
yeah.
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 Glad I
Thank
could
you for
walk
guys for
into that.
being here, man. I
Thank
didn't know
you
where to
for
start
having
with you
us.
guys. LBC and the IE. Where are you from?
Yes.
Where are you guys both from originally?
Well,
Well, I'm from like Lakewood, Long Beach area,
Yeah.
but I've been repping the IE for a year. I've been moving the IE since 2004.
Okay.
yeah.
I
I was
super
actually
young.
born in San Antonio, but I spent we moved from San Antonio to the jungles to Long Beach. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Jungles.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Training day, yo.
yeah, my mom was like, that was
Ah.
literally where we lived, like straight up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved there?
It was like 2,
Okay.
2, 3. But I like my memory is very extensive. Like my mom is bummed on it because I can remember like everything from like 2 on kind of.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was like, hey, is this the reason we moved to Long Beach? Some guy egged some guy's car and then got killed in front of the building, right? And she was like, why do you remember that?
To remember that
so
from 2 is
crazy.
crazy
Yeah,
too.
that was 3 when that happened. But then she was like, so I think right before I turned 5, we moved to Long Beach. Yeah.
And then so for both you guys, I guess, like growing up out here and maybe like kind of like your first kind of exposure to music or guitar or punk rock, like for both you guys, each kind of story.
My dad was really into like Pat Metheny and like Hendrix, like a lot of jazz, like psychedelic stuff from the 60s. He was very adamant, like, yo, don't listen to Judas Priest, don't listen to Ozzy. Yeah.
Do not listen to it.
No, yeah, like I remember specifically him saying not Judas Priest, not Ozzy, not Manson. And of course, as a kid, I was like, yo, that must be like the sickest stuff
That
ever.
shit,
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I was raised on Hendrix, the Stones, like Santana, but I went super into like the 80s route, and my dad did not like that. But I mean, now he's like used to it, definitely. But
Do you have siblings too?
yeah, I have a half sister, but she did definitely different route. I'm like the black sheep for sure. And I was in my family reunion like a week ago. It's definitely like they can tell I'm a little out there for sure.
Did they trip on like Zulu and the music and stuff?
They love it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
They love it. They can't believe it. Like they're so stoked on it. Like so
Super
it's
proud.
Really,
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's really
have,
awesome.
Have they heard that kind of aggressive music before? Or like,
Yeah, but they'd be like, "Yo, you sound like what they say? Like, oh, you sound like Slipknot or something." And I was like,
Really? They know Slipknot.
"Yeah." I was like, "Oh, I
family
guess."
reunion.
Like, I mean, that's cool, but
Wow.
yeah, it's
Wow.
really interesting.
Change, man.
What
I
about you,
love it.
Dez?
My introduction to heavy music was actually, Slipknot and Limp Bizkit from my older brother. He was like, "Yeah, like listen to this." He actually tricked me into using my allowance to buy him those CDs, and then be like, "But you get to listen to it," you know. And I was like, "All right,
That's fire.
that's cool." So he like put me onto that stuff, and then I started skating pretty young. So then the kids I would skate with put me on to like Blink-182 and Sum 41, things of those natures. So
Yeah.
that was like all my favorite stuff when I was like 11.
Those were like the
same.
soundtracks back then too.
Yeah.
That time frame.
I'm a little younger, so like, for me, it was like American Idiot was like, you couldn't go anywhere without singing American Idiot. So
Yeah.
I had mostly like classic rock until American Idiot, and then like Wolf Mother.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wolf Mother.
and then like The Darkness.
Yes.
Wow, the darkness.
Yeah, 'cause
really?
I believe in a thing called love.
Yeah.
Those are my boys. Shout out to Rufus, man.
That's
Oh,
sick.
nice.
Because I like classic rock, but then I was like, oh, Wolf Mother and The Darkness is like new classic rock, whatever. So like,
Oh,
it got
yeah,
me into
yeah.
like modern rock, like the Chili Peppers and My Chemical Romance, all that stuff, like
Yeah,
mid
yeah, yeah.
2000s, late 2000s, stuff like that.
Damn, the darkness. They've been more.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
Darkness
Fall Out
was sick,
Boy.
man.
yeah.
You gonna Fall Out Boy tat?
No game. This is
What?
Oh
one
shoot!
20-year anniversary.
Shout out to
Fall
Pete
Out
Wentz,
the
my
other day.
dude. Yeah, man. Shout out my
I
right
got
now.
a,
That's-
I
Shout
got
out
a
Pete
shirt.
Yo!
I got a shirt arriving today at my crib. It'll be on my doorstep when I get home. Like, I'm like the biggest Fall Out Boy fan.
Wow! I got Pete coming on the podcast soon.
Shout
too.
out Pete Wentz for
Shout out
real.
Pete
It's like-
Wentz.
Yeah, I met Pete once. He was not nice to me, but that's okay. That
Oh,
was
that's.
that was like it was literally like probably 2005
I'm not gonna have my
or
pod then.
6.
Shit's dead. He's
Nah,
too
it's
bad.
cool.
And
It's
what,
cool.
what was
It's
crazy, I met him in 2016 at the San Diego Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like he was the nicest dude on earth when I met him. I was like, yo, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Everyone tells me, "Oh, amazing experience, Pete wins," and I'm just like, "Damn, did I just catch
Maybe
a
catch him
bad
on the wrong
day?"
day, man.
yeah.
But then the same
That
day,
happens.
Travis McCoy was like the nicest guy to
Travis
me
McCoy,
ever.
shout out my
Yeah.
brother Travie, man.
His manager kept being like, "Yo, we gotta do press. We gotta do press." He was like, "Yo, fuck off." I'm like, "I'm kicking it."
Travie's the best, dude.
Took a photo with me, signed my ticket, chilling. Like,
He
yeah,
he found Tiger
yeah,
Yeah.
on Melrose. He fucking
Yeah,
gave me a
yeah,
CD
yeah,
on
yeah.
fucking Melrose.
I thought they were cousins for years. Is
Nah.
that was
The
not
big
real?
lie.
That was
right?
like the
Yeah.
rumor.
Yeah,
Now Tiger did that to like get women and get himself popping.
it worked. I mean, like,
He's the number one celebrity on OnlyFans, by the way.
But Fall Out Boy
Yes,
put
he's
on
up.
Gym Class Heroes.
Fall Out Boy put on Gym Class Heroes.
Yeah, they
I
did.
could like that whole like the Fueled by
Fueled by
Ramen,
Ramen.
clandestine.
What?
Like,
Fueled
I was
by Ramen
such
went crazy.
They
like
did.
my standum of Fall Out Boy. Like they used to have a fact of the day on their website, and I would refresh it over and over again, trying to like find a new fact.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
oh,
incredible, dude.
Pete Wins
This
was
is
an
wild,
All-American
yo.
soccer player. Like I know
Yeah.
so much crazy shit. Like I was obsessed. The moment my boy Chris Singham was getting married in a few weeks, shout out to him. He put me on to Fall Out Boy, and like from that moment, it was just an obsession. Like,
Was it that first album?
it was like the demo of Calm Before the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
That's
deep
it's
cut.
it's on Take This
That's
to Your
deep
Grave,
cut.
but there's like
Yeah.
there's a demo version of it that he put me onto, and then I
Yeah.
became obsessed. And then like Evening Out with Your Girlfriend, the EP,
Yep.
that was that, and then Take This to Your Grave. Like I've like really been along for the ride for like 20
when
years.
That's
when
fucking awesome,
yo,
man.
When
Yeah.
that album that popped in like 04, 05.
One of the Cork Tree was
yeah,
the
crazy.
Cork
when
Tree.
when that came out,
For me, that's why I got
Massive.
into them.
Like let me
That
tell you
shit
about
fucking-
that.
oh my
I still
God.
thought that was like my little favorite band that no one knew about, because I used to have to fight over Fall Out Boy, like legit, because like bro, I'm from the east side of Long Beach, like
yeah, for
like,
sure.
so I'm in, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
you really
women,
fight,
yeah, you know,
yeah,
and like,
yeah.
like literally, I'm not gonna repeat the words people would use, you know,
Yeah,
but
for
I'm like,
sure.
I'm really like, I'm banging over Fall Out Boy, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, which is pretty crazy in
Uh-huh.
retrospect, but I'm like fist fighting
They
over
better
it. I'm
fucking
down.
appreciate you, man.
So I didn't know that the CD was gonna be like distributed widely. I called like 35 stores to get From Under the Cork Tree the day it came out, to like make sure that I
Make
could
sure.
get it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
And
like
then it
I
was-
called Target and they were like, yeah, we have that." I'm like,
Like, we have
"Target?
a
That's
grip.
crazy." And, you know, like I took the bus before school,
Yeah.
like opposite direction. I took the bus
That's so
and then
cool, man.
skated
Yeah.
and then got the CD and then like hauled ass to class.
that
But I was
album
just like,
is fire.
yeah.
What's like a big song on there that I would know?
Sugar, we're going down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For
the-
me,
Going
it's,
downtown and it's
yeah.
in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Dance,
this
dance.
has been said. What was that?
So
So
many
many times that
times.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sure if it, what song is that?
Bruh,
That's
bruh,
fucking-
First of all, Chicago is so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
slap her.
I just posted that on my story.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Is this some
That-
deep
that
dive
song-
like show?
No,
you
this
stuff?
is all on Take This
No,
to Your
that's
Grave.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like that is like a
album's
flawless album front to back
flawless.
to me. And then Taking Back Sunday totally bit one of the songs.
Which song?
Damn.
And when it all goes to hell, will you be
They bit that
ever?
from Fall Out Boy?
No, that's
Crazy.
that's the Fall Out Boy one. But then will you tell all your friends?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Pull up,
totally
punch your
bit it.
face. Sorry.
Man, shut up.
Just put your mouth.
You can't hear me. I'm screaming, yo.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yo, this is a Fall Out Boy podcast. This is
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. My fandom is like, it's crazy. I need to chill. Actually, me and Cole from Scout, like that, like we'll just nerd out over stuff and then like text each other back and forth. Like,
That's wild.
the Fall Out Boy stuff, and now everyone has come back around that used to hate.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's coming, black
Come-
and white people.
Yep.
Everyone, dudes in the hood, they be like, "Hey man,
So good
that
question.
shit, man."
Did you see them on that tour for that record? The under the
Okay,
I-
so
'cause
here's
I
the
saw
thing:
one that-
I've
that was
never
What?
seen Fall Out Boy.
oh my God. Okay,
Not
Fall Out Boy
one
appreciation
time.
podcast right now.
Yo,
It is. This is insane.
So
Go ahead.
that was
They
so
calling me.
that record is what got me into Fall Out Boy.
Really?
Because not that record specifically when they toured it. One of my friends was like, "Yo, I got a ticket to Fall Out Boy. You want to roll with me?" I was like, "All right," like I wasn't really into that, And then I went and saw it live, and I was like, "Oh, it was them." Panic at the Disco, and Panic at the Disco was the first band.
Yeah, they blew up too.
They weren't-
Yeah.
they weren't
They were
even- they
big.
weren't even-
I
they
know
weren't
the
even
tour.
big
Yeah.
yet. Yep. In Motion City Soundtrack and the Starting Line.
Yeah.
Starting
That's
line.
what that tour was. And
Yeah.
it was fucking insane. And Fall Out Boy did like a wardrobe change in the middle of the set.
Of course they did,
It
bro.
was, dude, it was like
That's
like dope.
fire.
They came out like this, I don't know, these kind of outfits, like suits.
The dude's an ill singer and
Cool.
songwriter for
Almost
sure.
like some shit
Yeah.
vampires would wear or whatever. And then they switched into like, then it got like into like the real outfits, and they fucking ripped.
Could that be the biggest comeback reunion band? Because it seemed like they're bigger than they ever been when they came back.
I don't think
Like bigger than, I don't know.
They didn't have
They
that
never
long of a
really-
break though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
they
never-
disappeared
they
for a second, no?
Aerosmith when they came back was crazy.
I think they just.
Aerosmith?
Yeah.
Oh, they're about
Chill.
to. They're about to.
But
close
they're
it
they're
off.
done.
This is
They're-
their last tour,
It's the last
yeah.
tour. Yeah, it's the last tour.
Yeah, they're about to close it off.
I'll say one more thing about Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, throw it at me.
I've never seen them live, so
That's wild.
I was
Oh, you told me this story. Yeah.
constantly in trouble as a child, and like my mom specifically, she went out of town once. I had tickets. She was like, I was staying with her friend. She's like, no matter what, he cannot see Fall Out Boy. That was like the
Really?
thing. She was like no matter what. And then there was a bunch of times where like I tried to pull up, but I didn't have a car. I was a kid. I missed them so many times. And then they did a secret show at Chain, and this person I put them onto knew about it, and in a very vindictive way didn't tell me. Went to the show, took photos on her shitty like flip phone, and it was like Fall Out Boy just did a secret show. Ha 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 ha. And I
That's
like,
fucked up.
yeah,
I
but
would have broke that.
That's
phone.
beef.
yeah. And now I'm at the point where it's like I'm always on tour when they're around, or I'm always busy. It's
gonna
very
happen.
crazy.
I'm gonna
gonna
put this.
happen.
I'm gonna put this in the stratosphere now. And if I have Pete Wentz on, I'm
Stratosphere.
gonna have you back as a co-host with us. Okay?
Let's go.
No, for real,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
For real. Like
Yeah.
both you guys be fucking
That's
deep
sick.
diving
Is
on
that
them.
the right word?
What?
You said I'm gonna put this in the stratosphere?
I just put it out there in the fucking world of the podcast.
Nah, that's
I don't-
yeah.
There's
Thank
this
you,
fire.
man.
There's
Yeah.
this fire bank on Stateside that did a Fall Out Boy cover set, and we
I
got to
lost
see it.
my mind.
Dude.
Dez was turned. Dez was turned up.
Patrick Stump was on Hall & Oates' old Daryl Hall's show, and they did Sugar We're Going Down Down.
Mhm.
You got it's one of the best covers.
I gotta
ever.
peep it.
It's
I gotta peep
insane.
it.
Okay, you heard the Gorilla Biscuits covered by Fall Out Boy?
Yes.
Oh no! See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Start Today. Start Today.
Start today. Let's
Yeah,
not-
man. Yeah, man. Facts. Yeah.
They've done a lot of strange covers. They
Dude,
did Roxanne, you don't gotta put on the red
Great.
light, and they've done
They didn't do Thriller.
yeah.
No, not Thriller. They did Beat It. Yeah.
And then they
On
did
Fuse. I remember Fuse.
they've done a lot of just
I
covers where
know
it's like, wow.
Nothing.
The drummer,
from-
Straight Edge Vegan, OG
I
from
know
Chicago
nothing.
hardcore
Yeah.
bands.
I missed that.
Still?
Whole,
Yeah.
I missed that whole phase.
Where were you in
I
Brazil?
was in Brazil. There's like phases that happen in like American like pop culture and just in
Yeah.
general that I just missed for like 20 years.
So you ever even heard? You heard Fall Out Boy or no?
I just heard the name
Damn.
and I just
crazy.
And just
They were
that
massive.
guy Pete. I know that name.
Good kids too.
I'm
Good
sure
kids.
I've seen just photos and stuff, but I couldn't tell you one song.
Damn.
It's scary.
Yeah, I was with the whole lore though. I knew like I listened to Arma Angelis. I I listened to all of their side projects. Like I was a real stan. It was weird to me because I'm like, why am I so obsessed? But it was like drugs, bro. I loved it. It's very
when you
crazy.
brought up the Fueled by Ramen shit, I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa.
I was on the Fueled by
crushing.
Ramen street team.
You were?
Yeah, when I was 15, I put up like
Crazy.
thousands of stickers around Long Beach. Like, man, what was that band?
They were like drive-through records, kind of, right?
Yeah, the Academy is Fall Out Boy stickers. I had like all types of stuff, and I would like take photos and email it to them and
my
shit.
homies were
Like,
part of the Main. You ever hear of the Main?
yeah.
Yeah. Those were my boys.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on this. I actually got. So this is funny. This is before I went straight edge.
Oh, you
got-
straight edge too?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I was. There was a stint.
It's me and Braxton. Sure.
I got invited to hang out with Gym Class Heroes and Fall Out Boy on my 16th birthday, right? But
Oh, this is a story you told me. Yeah.
I got
And-
drunk.
But you were edge when you got there?
I never made it.
Okay.
I slept through it. I got very drunk like the night I turned 16. Like
oh my God.
with some friends of mine, which I shouldn't have even been able to access as much alcohol as I did. But I was like hungover. And then, yeah, I slept through like the hangout with Fall Out Boy and Gym Class in Huntington Beach,
Wow.
which like
dude.
destroyed me. I was like, I can't believe I did that. But it was like a thank you for like going hard on the street team. They had invited like kids to.
Wow,
come hang out.
man. Chappelle's blown away right now.
I am blown away. That's like a deep. That's the you know.
But,
some
but
stuff he
similar
says-
backgrounds in music too, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with the shits. I was always with the shits when it came to representing like the stuff that I liked. Like I would like book shows for friends and bands. You mentioned the Maine. My homies
Yeah.
at Navy toured with them.
Yeah.
They were on Rise. They're from Utah. I like would book shows for them and like pre-sale tickets. And they weren't even big enough to pre-sale tickets, but I was
Yeah.
like
Oh, I used to
forcing
hate the
people to
pre-sale
buy
circuit.
tickets.
Yeah.
So I'm
Worst.
like, no,
God.
my friends are gonna show up to 100 people, like in this little rinky-dink pizza
Yo, this
spot. Like I don't care.
conversation's crazy.
So skateboarding, all that, that's how you guys found this music.
Yeah.
The pop
Yeah.
punk, it's just everything too.
Yeah, and my brother. Yeah.
He was into it too?
My brother just put me onto it. He thought me deep diving into it was weird. He just liked listening to it.
For me, it was definitely like punk and like new metal, for sure.
Limp Bizkit and stuff like that too?
Like like
Korn?
mostly Slipknot.
Great band.
Yeah, a lot of Slipknot, a lot of Korn. Yeah,
Grab the
Yeah.
mic, man.
Yeah.
like Slipknot, Korn, Soulfly, System of a Down,
Soulfly.
stuff like that.
Grab the
yeah.
mic,
I
Chappelle.
love stuff like that.
Korn's like one of his favorite
Oh,
fucking
favorite.
bands, bro.
Crazy.
Korn's, like,
Changed his
Fire.
life.
It's one of my top favorites. Oasis is number one.
We all know
But-
that.
Fire.
Korn is like fucking unstoppable.
Yeah, the first few records definitely like I
Oh,
rock
come
with a
on.
lot. The last record I liked was the
Untouchables.
the untitled one with the little crow face
Oh,
thing
that
on
one.
it.
Yeah. That was like a few years ago.
Yeah, that was a minute. That was like
Was it?
it's evolution.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I
Was it?
really liked.
Was that
from
like
them.
2 years ago? No.
That was like a minute. That was like 2005, I think, or 6,
Oh,
7,
I'm tripping.
8,
No,
something
that-
like that. No,
I
I
thought
don't
2005
remember.
was Untouchables.
Okay, it's definitely after that.
It was after that.
That's the
Yeah,
little
yeah,
the little
yeah.
kids on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
But they-
yo, what is this?
Yeah.
So did you guys find other people where you guys grew up doing the same music and skateboarding as you guys at that time, or were you guys with the Black Sheep growing up and where you guys grew up
Definitely
to?
Black Sheep in like my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I went to a school like way out of my neighborhood, so I was able to like connect with people that way. And then there's like a very special type of, I'm trying to say this nicely. There's a special type of like white ghetto person in Long Beach.
Okay.
Like, and my homegirl got really into punk. And so she also was just like, yo, like, check this out. Like,
Yeah.
No Effects, Casualties, blah, blah, blah. Like, putting me on this stuff,
Wow.
you know? And then she had a homegirl, man, she was like a chola turned punk that I had a crush on. So I started kind of like faking the punk to like try to get at her,
Faking
you
the
know?
punk.
And I was just
shit,
like,
faking
oh,
the
like,
funk.
I will be a poser for this because she was so bad. And yeah, so that was just like more and more of it just kept being introduced to me, you know,
Yeah.
through that. And then I didn't really like care for it until I was like 15, 16. Like just friends introducing stuff to me, and then yeah.
Yeah.
I went to elementary in like I was the only black kid in the whole entire school.
Wow. Where was that at?
It was in like the La Habra Whittier border.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, go figure. But and yeah, I used to go to school. I had like a Killers, like the Killers. If you know, like, not even anything heavy remotely at all. But I had a Killers shirt. They're like, oh, you can't wear that. Like not like Iron Maiden Killers, like the Killers.
Yeah.
Like, and I had a Killers shirt. I got in trouble. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like I had that Master of Puppets. Oh, you can't wear that. I had
Strict.
a
Yeah.
Green Day shirt. It said like American Idiot. Oh, why are you saying American Idiot? Like I would get in trouble for
Wow.
every little minute thing they could possibly do. So
Whittier, California.
yeah.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that was in like some John Steinbeck novel.
Oh no.
Whittier's like the very edge of the 562. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it's
like you
it's
could
like,
tell when somebody's from that part of the 562.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
yeah.
And so yeah, I was like super into like stuff like that. But and then so I went to school. After that, I moved to Lake Elsinore, which is where I'm at now. And I was really scared to rep like punk and metal because I was so young and like I was used to like getting berated by the teachers and everything for it, and the kids would call me crazy names, all this crazy stuff.
Wow.
So like that's when my homie gave me System of a Down Hypnotize,
Mm-hmm.
and it was burned with Subliminal Verses by Slipknot. I had no songs or nothing. It was just like a CD. It was like
Yeah.
written all crappy with like a. It wasn't even a Sharpie. It was like an Expo marker, so it was all like wide tips. It was all blurry and everything. But I had that, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. I could not believe it. So I didn't have a computer, so I was watching Fuse. If you remember Fuse,
Hell yeah.
I was watching Fuse and then like VH1, and I was like trying to find out all these bands and everything. But like that's when I was like, yo, it was like new metal and stuff like that. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I got heavier and heavier, and then yeah, it went from like Slayer to like Sepultura. I mean, I'm not even trying to. I'm just being honest, like you know, and it just got crazier. I was like, I wanted something heavier and heavier, and I kind of like peaked at like black thrash, like black and thrash. Dead thrash was like for me like the peak of like, yo, this doesn't get crazier than that. Like that's like, yeah, that's stuff like that was like how I started.
And then when did you start playing guitar? How old were you?
I was like probably 12. My dad had a Strat laying around, and he had like a Yamaha Les Paul. I still use it to this day.
He was a musician?
Yeah,
It's awesome.
he was like he's like a jazz guy. He does like jazz stuff. So my first time playing the Observatory, I used my dad's guitar that he gave me.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it was.
you guys were at that show, right?
Yeah.
Oh
The
no,
Observatory.
this was like
Oh, okay, okay.
I played the Constellation Room like 2018.
Okay.
I was like couldn't believe it.
It wasn't
but-
with Step Back, right?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't. It was a band called Wise. I'm still on
He's
Wise.
like, I'm tapped in.
yeah,
Straight edge band, let's go.
yeah. But no, my shout out Wise. We played. I think it was.
That's a
like,
cool name too.
Yeah, thank you. I don't remember who we played with, but yeah,
You
he had a
wouldn't-
guitar laying around, and it used to hurt my hand all the time. I couldn't do it, so I started to fool around on guitar and everything, and then I saw it was VH1 Classic. You remember like those '80s
Yeah.
like countdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Van Halen on VH1 Classic. I had chills. The back of my like hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like I couldn't. But this is the point where I wasn't really into thrash or anything yet. I was just around like not really heavy stuff, just like rock, hard rock.
Yeah.
Saw Van Halen on VH1 Classic. I was like, yo, this is unreal. Like I couldn't believe Eruption. I couldn't believe it was real.
It's awesome.
From then on, went to the record store, got like Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. I got all the stuff on CD, cassette, like everything, vinyl.
So sick.
And that's when I started to. Then I got a computer after that, and it was just I would been up all night. Van Halen live with the blah blah blah, 1980 blah blah blah. That's all I would do, and I started to like. I learned like guitar from like besides my dad just showing me the basics. I learned it from like Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Hendrix videos, Stevie Ray Vaughan videos,
So
just on
cool, man.
YouTube for
Yeah.
hours. Like I was obsessed,
Damn.
super obsessed.
Nobody ever brings up Van Halen on this podcast, man.
Yeah,
Incredible.
I
unfortunately,
am
no.
Van Halen for life.
The
There
tattoo,
you
I
go.
know. This
There
shit's
you
Van Halen
go.
for life.
Anytime I see some EVH stuff, I just buy it for him.
Oh, that's
and he
awesome,
loses his
man.
mind. It could be the stupidest thing. Oh, I got you a keychain. Yo!
Yeah,
like,
I'm obsessed.
That's like one of the first shows I saw ever in my life was David Lee Roth when he left Van Halen.
Damn.
like 85.
Yeah, it was like
86?
around there, and he had his band with like Steve
Vai.
And I saw that
And Billy
show.
Sheehan on
Yes.
bass. That's crazy.
It was the sickest group. Like he was the peak. Of,
he
like,
had to
his-
compete.
I was
The
like,
only guy that could compete with Van Halen was literally like freaking Steve Vai. Like,
Yeah.
like
And I
Damn.
was like, it was unbelievable show. Like I couldn't believe like he was so charismatic, David Lee Roth.
so
but with
sick.
that band backing him, he was huge.
I
You
just
like
best
14
money
years
can
old
buy.
or something?
Yeah,
Who'd you go
14.
with?
My friend Jason Kahn.
Sick.
Yeah,
That's a great concert.
it was amazing. I think Rat opened up. or
Oh my
something.
god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck.
I got a question. Since you Van Halen fan,
Pull the mic to your mouth, though, please. Just pull it up to
Toby,
your
it's
mouth.
right there.
No, just pull it to your mouth. I can
I'm not
hear you.
pulling any
I-
closer.
Yo,
feel
Joe,
like-
my editor, you listening? Pull that
I'm
shit
not
to your
pulling
mouth. These guys are
it's right
killing
here.
it.
What do you want me to do?
This
Because you
shouldn't
got
be a
headphones.
kiss
I
fight.
love
Yo,
you,
I'm
Chappelle.
gonna keep it real though, because I do audio. Like you got it pointed down.
Yes!
Like
Bro,
Perfect. It's perfect.
Toby,
I love you. It sounds better. Thank you, man.
it just like it just picks up
Thank
the
you, Dez.
frequency better. It's
It's
easier.
my man Dez, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to like.
Dude,
Look,
I love you.
I usually always side with the black
You
man no matter what. Even if it's wrong.
we'll break this fucking microphone.
You sound great now. You sound great now. I love you. Go. Just go, motherfucker.
I'm gonna keep it. The problem is that it's upside down.
You built this shit.
No, I didn't. Just flip it around. Just
You
flip it
yelling
around.
at me, yo?
Just flip it around, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Problem solved.
Thank you.
Dude,
I can't watch him just like come at you all
Dude.
night. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hiring.
Yeah.
I'm hiring Des for my
So
podcast,
as I
bro.
was saying,
Okay, go. This
being
is
a man.
perfect. Go.
you being a Van Halen fan,
Yeah.
did you rock with him with Hagar?
So everyone always asking me.
That's
So
a great question.
I was
Because
very.
if you got that tattoo,
Yeah, it's rings, not wings, on my arm. I don't have like the wings of like the it's wings, not rings, because rings was like the Sammy, but so
got it.
as I was not really rocking with Sammy, to be honest, but since
That's fair.
Eddie passed, it was like I rediscovered the Van Hagar stuff is brilliant. I mean, like, cause I knew all the songs then, but like deep diving, like that stuff is like
Yeah.
it's really like well written stuff. It's just not what I was used to, but
Yeah.
a lot of keyboard heavy stuff. But it's amazing song, and it's like not that I love Daily Revolve to death, but Sammy had more substance in the writing. It was about like it wasn't just like yo let's party and get some girls. It was
Yeah.
like yo like it was like really deep, you know.
That is a true fan.
So
right there.
I would
That
say
is wild.
and Gary Sharon doesn't get any love. Yeah,
Let's go.
Gary Sharon.
Gary Sharon gets no love, but that record was cool. That record was sick. That record was fire. Gary Sharon record
Gary.
was fire. Yeah, I thought it was sick, but
He's a great guy.
yeah, but Sammy, I would say Sammy had an amazing catalog with.
Can't
with,
drive 55.
I
Yeah.
stop.
Hit.
Come on.
You remember when?
Right now, it's everything.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
a
that
banger.
song would give you goosebumps.
Yeah.
Dude. That
Yeah.
song was
That
so
was
positive.
such a great song.
Yeah,
Come on.
no, that's amazing.
Remember when Eddie got
Say-
arrested in Thompson Square Park for buying weed
Oh
in the
man.
early 90s? Yeah, he got arrested.
Fire.
Yeah, he got arrested for Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
He got arrested buying weed
There's
out there.
many
Remember that
stories
shit?
that. Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
fire.
remember just seeing him when I came to LA, like years ago, before living here, and he was just at, some strip bar
Oh,
that
yeah.
everybody would go to, and I was like, oh shit, that's him, just like broken down and just.
No, yeah, he was early
Yeah.
2000s. He was like cancer. He was going through it a lot.
Yeah,
it
it was like really
bad.
sad. But
Yeah.
Sammy is just, I always admired his, he's very professional. Everything that he's done, and the way he carries himself.
You see how he looks right now? He's like 70,
I
bro. He
know.
looks so good.
His brother got to play with Sammy.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Recently.
Yeah.
That's right. In
In
Vegas.
Vegas.
In Vegas, that's right.
The Circle, that band, The Circle.
I guess it was like people come up and play, different random people.
Oh, he has a band called The Circle. It's like Chickenfoot, but it's like a different drummer. It's
yeah,
like,
my brother got to rock a
Chicken
song
foot?
with him.
Chickenfoot's fire. I got both those CDs. Chickenfoot was fire. Yeah,
That's so crazy.
yeah.
Yo,
Yo, this
Chappelle,
podcast is
this is incredible, bro. Yo, you met some real deep divers though so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really tapped in on the Van Halen stuff at all. Like that music has never appealed to me. But I've tried to be more open minded. So
Respect it,
I do
yeah.
like with everyone in the van, because I do most of the driving, I'll be like, yo, like You sit up front. You put me on to like that thing for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's an artist he really liked that did a Van Halen cover album. I don't remember who that was.
They're called the Bird and the Bee.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
so
really
it's
sick.
like it's just a producer and a singer. They're great though, and I've been a fan. But they did Interpreting the Masters. The first one was Hall & Oates, and I was like,
damn.
And I was like, we're driving, and I'm like, oh, we were driving through Canada, and I was like, yo, like I low key feel like they did a second volume, and it's probably Van Halen. He was like, yo, that would be so crazy to just hear different renditions. And I looked, and it was Van Halen.
I was geeked.
Wow.
And so we just listened to it, and then like it gave me like more of appreciation because it was by artists I like and their take on it. So now I'm like,
That's
okay,
cool.
like trying to open my mind up to it more, you know, because
I was stoked to hear that. It was really sick.
yeah, and they
But
did
that-
like with piano and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I have respect for Sammy. A crazy story though. Speaking of, you said Rat. My old I was like 14, 15. I opened up for Stephen Piercy at the Whiskey.
What?
I had an indie band.
Jesus.
I opened up for Stephen Piercy at the Whiskey. So I was like, yo, I'm a big fan. He's like, hey man, what's good, dude? Yeah, man. And I'm there, and then there's this dude. His job was literally he was a Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri impersonator, and that was his job.
Wow.
So he was at the Whiskey, and I was like, oh my god, it's Sammy Hagar. He's like, what's good, man? Yeah, dude. So I get a picture with him, and I look, and I was like, bro, this is not Sammy Hagar, bro. I was like, what? And I was like so mad. I was livid. I was like, yo. I was like, this is not. And I looked him up, and he's like a Sammy Hagar, Guy Fieri impersonator.
That's a bum out.
I was like, bro, you gotta be kidding me.
I'll be high. I'll go find him again.
It's crazy.
What was your band called?
It's called the Axis Vertigo. We were a little indie band, and yeah, it was
Too
super
much.
random.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
it was super random.
crazy.
It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. It was really nuts. Yeah,
How old were you then in that band?
I was like 14, 15.
What the fuck?
Yo,
Open up Steve
we gotta
Perry?
go find that dude. We're like, yo,
Yeah.
man, run your shit.
I feel like if you Google like Sammy Hagar, Guy Fieri impersonator, it'll probably come up. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, because like that's a very niche market. Both of those guys, you know, like
Fucking random. Dez, what about for you, like playing guitar? Your inspirations, how were you when you started?
Oddly enough, my inspirations, I mean, it was Fall Out Boy, it was Green Day, it was Andre 3000.
Dope.
So
So
I like,
Genius.
because I was like, yo, there's a black dude who could rap that's playing guitar right now. Like, that was like fire to me. And I wanted a guitar so bad. I actually used to go to my friends' homes. I would skate like 2-3 miles, like that lived near my school, because like all those kids had guitars.
Yeah.
Like no one in my neighborhood had guitars. All those kids had guitars.
Yeah.
So I go to their houses and just like fuck around on their guitars for hours. And they'd be like, did you even come here to hang out with me? And the truth was no. I didn't. Like, it was just fucked. I used them for sure. But like, I wanted to play guitar so bad. And then School of Rock came out.
Great.
And I'm like, I was like, to myself, I'm like, I'm bullshitting. Like, I want to rock. And like, like I don't know how to play guitar.
Yeah.
And my stepdad had brought back this like cheap little wooden acoustic guitar from Mexico, and I watched Jack Black play like the Deep Purple riff in the
Deep
movie,
Purple.
and I just like rewound it a bunch of times, and then I just learned it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta go get a guitar. So I mean, my mom's like, I'm not buying you a guitar. So I got a job. I got a work permit. I got a job.
Wow.
And then I worked all summer, and then like got bamboozled like a motherfucker, because I worked all summer and went and spent way too much money on like a Squier Strat. Like the dude at Guitar Center like shysted me like crazy,
Fuck.
and I bought like the Strat package, and from then I didn't even know. I didn't know anything about guitar. No one would show me because they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna be, yeah." And I was like, "No, like I'm gonna rock. Like I'm gonna do this for a living." And everyone's like, "No fucking way!" Like my friends,
Wow.
Damn.
it was like a joke amongst my friends. Like, "Oh yeah, this guy, like guitar."
Wow.
Like
Damn.
they made a skit about it actually. Like that's
Crazy.
probably still findable on the internet.
Wow.
Hopefully
You
not.
put it on the internet?
But yeah. They made a skit about me
Animated,
playing guitar and the world ending. Like,
Wow.
it's like you're bad, like, and like you're from the hood, and it was like fucked. But I didn't even know how guitar tuning worked for like months. So I was just like, I want to play in the key of E, and I do all the strings to E. I was
Same.
going
I did
through
the
strings.
Same thing.
I was going through strings for months, not
Wow.
understanding like how it worked. And then one day I was like, I should learn how to read guitar tabs. And I'm like, man, what the fuck are these letters on the guitar tabs? And this shit doesn't sound like when I'm playing it. And then I was like, like it clicked. And I was like, oh my God. That's what people mean when they say in tune. Because no one told me. They're just like, yo, this shit's out of tune. You sound stupid. And I was just like, okay, but like no one was leading the horse to the water. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So I would like looked at the tabs and I was like, oh shit, it all makes sense now. And then
I'm mystified. Wow. Holy shit.
and the first thing I learned outside of that Deep Purple riff, because I just been like making my own stuff up because I play with my headphones on and the amp. I learned the Andre 3000 song. I hope you are the prototype. That was like the first thing I learned. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I played it for a girl and she's like, that's stupid. So I stopped liking her. And then, after that, I just like would sit on YouTube all day trying to like learn shit.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Smoke on the Water, you said the first song?
Yeah,
on the water.
yeah.
That's,
But
I think everybody universally just knows Smoke on the Water is the first song.
Smoke on the water. And then I was just looking for easy songs. So like my homie's like, yo, you want to be a guitar player, learn Blink-182 songs. So then I just like, he gave me a Blink-182 music book.
Yeah.
So my buddy Jordan DeMarco, shout out to this fool. This was the only kid I knew that would actually show me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Shout out to him,
he was so fucking good at guitar, and we were like 13, 14. His dad was like, he wanted a Les Paul. His dad's like, yo, you learn the Black Album front to back, and I'll buy you a new guitar. And he did it in like 2 days. And he sat his dad down and played through the whole thing. And his dad was just like, oh shit, okay, I guess I owe you a guitar. But
he couldn't get it after the first song. Like, hey, dog, your son.
All right, track 2 now. Okay, the track 3.
I'm already,
nah, he was just like, because he really wanted to test it. But yeah, my buddy Jordan,
wild.
He was really, really good. But he put me on to like songs to learn, and from then I just like started going Blink-182, Green Day. I learned what was that? Switchfoot, Meant to Live, because that was like an easy song.
Switchfoot.
Bro, you better stop playing. Are you serious?
Why you like Switchfoot?
Man.
I remember
Bro, my
Switchfoot.
first episode of my podcast, we talk about that song.
Oh,
man.
wow.
How hard that song's so hard.
It's very hard, yeah. And it's like
they're a Christian band.
I grew up in a
that's
very,
right.
Yeah.
very religious household, so that was like the heavy music thing was like a problem. So then I discovered there was like all this like Christian heavy music. So I was like, I could still get away and then sneak in the shit I like, you know?
Wow.
So then I would
That
like.
is- bro, you brought
So
up
my mom would be
Switchfoot.
like, "What is this? Turn this off. That's like devil shit." And I'd be like, "Read the lyrics." You know what I'm saying?
That's
She's
so
like,
sick.
they got some hard riffs.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude.
Switchfoot's got hard riffs.
that was that's what got me into guitar. And then I got taken to my first show, and then it was like after that I was like I
What was
gotta
your
learn.
first show?
It was Blindside from Sweden. Blindside,
They're-
the Showdown.
They're a Christian band.
Yeah,
Aren't they? Blindside? Yeah.
Blindside, the Showdown, which was like a metal band from Tennessee that were like that's what made me want to rip. And then Schoolyard Heroes from Seattle. They were like really weird, gothy.
Yeah.
She could do like operatic singing. And then
That's cool.
Showbread, which was a Tooth and Nail band, but they were hella weird.
Tooth and Nail.
That was a
They were like-
Christian label? Tooth and
Yeah.
Nail?
Tooth and Nail, yeah.
But
Yeah,
Tooth
yeah.
and Nail was
That's
like, or
crazy.
Showbread was like a 7-piece band, 2 singers, like black dude, white dude, but they had like synths, and they would like do all this. They actually have influenced a lot of how I record music and stuff, because they would do weird shit like mic a window, put the kick drum on
you
the other
told me about
side,
that.
Yeah.
Damn.
like do crazy stuff. So that, but yeah, Showbread, Showdown, Blindside, Schoolyard Heroes.
My
Wow.
first show was Smash Mouth.
Smash
yeah. I was a little kid.
There's some
so-
catchy songs, though, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for real. Yeah, catchy
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
So it was Under
Wow.
Oath? Was Under Oath Christian?
Under Oath.
Yeah,
were
they
He's
were
got a
on
back
Tooth and
tattoo.
Nail.
Tooth and Nail.
Chappelle's got Under Oath back tattoo.
Oh yeah, I have an Under Oath tattooed on my back.
That's
Really?
fire.
Who else? Devil Wears Prada was on Tooth and Nail.
Flyleaf was.
Flyleaf was
what-
on it.
they were a
Derek's
Christian
like, what
band,
is
right?
this, man?
That
Was it As I Lay Dying on Tooth and Nail?
I don't know.
no, I don't
don't
think
know.
so.
No.
I don't think
Alright.
As I Lay Dying was. They had 2 sides of that label. What was it? Was Tooth and Nail and
You're
Those-
right. You're right. There is something else on there, though.
there was the
Oh,
non-heavy side of the music.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Were both your parents open-minded about you guys playing music and rock and roll and all this stuff? And
My dad hated.
Thought it was a phase,
He
maybe?
hated the glam stuff
mm,
because like
glam rock.
I was like, I mean, you can see my shirt, but I'm like, I'm huge on like glam stuff. Like my dad
The whole
was,
era.
Yeah, so I was always taking my mom's clothes and stuff. That wasn't very well received.
Yeah.
But I mean, now they're just like, Mom, boy, you wearing my hat again? You wearing my I just take my mom's stuff all the time. But yeah, they didn't really like it at first, but
Yeah.
now it's like they just know that's me.
That's just you, yeah.
But yeah, my dad was, for him, if it was 80s, it was like The Police, Stevie Ray Vaughan, stuff like that. I love Stevie Ray Vaughan,
yeah.
But for me, it was like Whitesnake and Poison and like all that stuff. I was like, yo, this stuff is fire.
Did you ever like Prince?
Yeah.
Ill guitar
Prince,
player.
yeah, Prince was like,
Underrated, dude.
I like the
Super
dichotomy of like how it was like very funk and R&B, but like he was like a glam rock guitarist. I
Yeah.
thought that was
Kind
just,
of
like,
true, yeah.
No, very true.
Yeah, I was obsessed.
And he
with
can play
Prince.
bass.
And people don't talk
He
about him
played,
as
he
a
played
great.
bass, drums.
Yeah.
One of the
He's a
greatest
real
musicians
musician.
ever. Yeah, greatest musician, greatest ever. Like,
Yeah.
to play everything. It's
Absolutely.
crazy. And sing.
Yeah.
And dance.
Yeah. His
Crazy.
own style, everything he did his own way.
We're
It
talking
blew
about
my
Prince.
mind.
Prince.
Incredible, untouchable, man. Everything he did, like
Like vocal control of dancing
Yeah.
and singing and then playing guitar and then songwriting. So this is unprecedented. Like,
I love
Yeah.
how Rick James talks about him, like having him open up for him. And shit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's just,
Stupid
like,
motherfucker making me work.
yeah.
Dumb motherfucker. Yeah.
what about you? What about your parents and the music and stuff?
My mom was like back and forth because I did like stuff like I would do talent shows
Okay.
at school and like be in plays, but she didn't want me to pursue it professionally because she'd been around a bunch of shit. So my mom hung out with Prince. Like,
Wow.
yeah, she was like, yeah, Prince always used to try to get my shoes off of me, my heels. Yeah, which is like crazy. But I learned this type of stuff like later. But she was very like reluctant, and I didn't know why until later.
Yeah.
She's just like, yo, I've just seen some stuff. My mom didn't drink, didn't smoke or anything. She was like, I just been around some crazy stuff. I think really, and she used to hang
Yeah.
out with man, you dropped the bomb, Gap Band.
Gap Band.
Yeah,
Gap
yeah.
Band.
She used to like kick it. She was like, yeah, like there was a point where I was like, yo, like, are some of these songs about you? Like, what's really going on? Because she said, man, I forget his name, the singer Gap Band. She's like, yo, he tried to get at me for years. Charlie Wilson. It's like he tried to get at me for years, and I wasn't having it. And but like I didn't know, like I thought that the music came from nowhere because I was like, why am I obsessed with this stuff? But she was like very reluctant. It actually resulted later in life with me moving out. But she came and saw a couple shows when I was in high school. I was like in a metal band, and she was like, man, you're good at this.
Yeah.
It's just like not the life I really want for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then like a few years later, she was like, I think you were really meant to do this. Because it's just been always like, since I was young, it was like just an obsession even more. Because I started rapping when I was really young too. So like I was recording at home all the time. Like when I was making beats in the house, like my mom actively saw this, and like I would play at the church and stuff too. It's just, I don't think she wanted me to pursue it professionally.
What was your MC name?
Man, I went through a bunch. 'Cause it's hard. Like coming up with a name is hard. So there was like Desi D, like
D.
that's like
hard.
that's like 11, 12-year-old name. There was just Destiny, which I was like, man, that's not gonna get me anywhere. I was like in a little clique when I was young.
Yeah.
That ended up turning to some other shit. I had to like get away from it. But Hypno was one of my rap names.
All right.
Hypno.
Yeah.
I
And
like
I was
that.
like, because I seen like the Hypnotic bottle. My homie's mom had it. And I was like, yeah, Hypno. Yeah. You know? And then, man, I went through a bunch. Like, yeah, it's like endless. I went through a bunch of names.
Yeah.
And then I went through a bunch of different sounds and whatnot. Like, because I was always trying to marry like heavy and rap, but like make it not corny, which is like very, very hard.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. It's like I remember the day where I finally felt like, oh, okay, I could put this out. There's thousands of songs just on a hard drive.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was just like, okay, like I started putting stuff out. But yeah, professionally, my mom didn't want me to play. It resulted in me moving out because I started interning at a studio and doing like sessions playing bass for this like hip hop artist.
Nice.
And she was not having it. And she's like, you're out late. Like, I'm like, well, I made it before curfew. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, yo, I like got money for this. And she's like, I don't care. And I'm like, this is like, I'm going to live off this. She's like, I don't care. Like,
How old were you when you moved out?
19.
Okay.
like the day after I turned 19, because it was like so much contention. And I'm like, yo, I'm an adult. And
Yeah.
like,
What did she want you to be?
Yeah.
Like, what was she,
yo, my mom wanted me to be a preacher or a lawyer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Two random.
like,
preacher or lawyer?
Wow.
yeah. And she was like, I don't know. She's like, I feel like you're good at words. Like, you could preach. And I'm like, man, like, how many broke churches you seen before? Like, I don't know. I'm just like, yo, like, I'm actually making, like, I'm like, not many people are making money doing the thing they want to do right out of high school.
I was gonna
But-
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't really seeing it like that.
So you both wanted to do music when you graduated, both you guys.
Yeah, I left for my
Yeah.
first tour like 4 or 5 days after graduating high
Wow.
school. Yeah. Now, like 20 of the shows got canceled, but it was my first tour, you know? I booked them all on my Sidekick.
Sidekick, shout out
Yeah.
to the Sidekick. Woo!
I booked all these shows on my Sidekick, and we went out. Like, what
band was that?
My band was called Where Angels Fear to Tread. We went out to, we're like Christian metalcore.
Christian metalcore.
But we were actually more like we got clowned a lot. Let's say this. We got clowned a lot, right? And then a few years later, when Title Fight came around, people kept coming back to us and being like, I get it now. It was like one of those things where I was like, fuck you. Like, it was just, we're like 2 or 3 years kind of ahead.
Shout out to Title Fight, good kids.
Yeah,
good
shout out
bands.
to Title Fight. But yeah, we were a little bit ahead. And we just didn't like fit really in because we didn't have enough breakdowns for people
Okay.
and like the metalcore stuff. But then we're like not pop punky enough, you know?
Mhm.
So it was interesting. But we went out to Cornerstone, played some like Generator shows there and came back. But that was my first tour. And after that, I just got the itch to do it. I just
Yeah.
really wanted to tour.
I grew up hating metalcore, like, cause like I was like very strict, like yeah, thrash, brother, like yeah, like I had an indie band, like some indie bands, but I had like a thrash band called Altar of Apophis, and it was like, just like blackened, like death thrash, like I had the flip bill and like the
Sick.
like the skin tight jeans, the high tops, like that was my thing for a minute. Was like I had a street punk band, indie band, and a thrash band all at the same time in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
fight kids like you.
Yeah, no, cause my homies would beat up scene kids and emo kids and stuff, and like that's when I was like, yo, like this is a little too much. Like,
Wow.
but I had to kick it with like the juggalos and like the theater kids. I just
You
kick it
would?
with, yeah, I had to kick it with all those kids. I thought they were cool, but then my thrasher homies would beat up like the scene that like the swoosh hair kids or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
legit, yeah.
See,
And like,
I never looked like that, but I liked the shit. But they couldn't try that shit with me. Some people
Yeah.
almost got stabbed. They couldn't try that shit with me. Yeah, that shit.
Like the alternative
Yeah.
press, like Warped Tour, like those bands.
yeah,
with
Yeah.
a long sentence as their name.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to.
I tried to do
Oh
that
my
shit. My
God.
mom was like, "Baby, you have an afro." I'm like, "You're right, mom."
I tried
Get it
straightening my
straight.
hair and it did not work.
Yo.
I'm like, "Can I see your straightener?" No. Okay.
I tried the straightening thing. It was not
Really?
the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it was not it.
I actually feel bad for any black kid.
You got to get a hot comb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel bad for any black kid that successfully pulled that off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's
in
wild
retrospect,
to me that they pulled it off.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
how?
Yeah.
And
It had
there's
to be a
still
hot
some
comb.
now. Yeah.
Because the straightener like went straight in that much.
Yeah, it was
the
hot
hot
comb and it would
Put
hurt.
that shit on
Yeah.
the oven, run, tuck it just.
It'll burn your forehead.
But then my version of it, I used to S-curl the shit out of my shit, but I had like long hair, so it would be like, it was really weird looking, but it was kind of a look. I had it going for, I maybe look like a 93 Halle Berry. Like I used to S-curl the shit out of my hair.
To this day, my forehead is discolored because I used to put relaxer on it all the time. Because I wanted like the Jerry curl, like Tony McAlpine. Tony McAlpine and like Living Color, I wanted like that look. So I used to do that all the time. So my hair was long. I had like a Jerry curl, but it would burn. The relaxer burns so bad. I
Yeah.
had chemical burns. I had scabs in my scalp. I was dedicated to having that look. I gave up, obviously, but like,
Yeah, I got lucky. I learned early. My mom's like, "Yo, you leave that shit on too long." I think she showed me a video or something, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Don't leave it on
Yeah,
too
because
long.
with that shit, you have to do the exact time, amount
Yeah.
of time that you're supposed to leave it in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it burn your scalp.
Otherwise,
literal
it'll burn your
chemical
fucking
burns,
scalp.
like actual chemical burns.
Yeah.
It was
Big
crazy.
time. Because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of crazy chemicals in it, and that shit just burns.
You're not supposed to, like, I might be
Yeah.
fried now because of that, you know?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put that. I used to do that shit once a month. Like, as a kid, doing it myself, I go buy the kit.
Once a month?
Yeah, just be in the bathroom.
Because like,
you're supposed to do that shit like every 6 months.
I wanted to headbang all crazy when I was playing, so I just had my hair. My hair was like, it would grow up, so I had to grow down with that. That was what I would do.
Wow.
That shit, it's crazy because I wanted to have like long hair, and I was inspired by skateboarder Steve Stedham. He had dreads, and then of course like Bad Brains, but nobody, even black or white, understood in my school. They were just like, yo, like all the black kids were like, you need to comb your hair immediately. I don't know what's going on, but you need to comb them damn naps out of your hair. And like every day it was like, damn, what happened? Like I got,
for being
ridiculed,
being a skateboard punk rocker.
ridiculed by the black community, and then white kids are like, yo, you smoking weed? You got some weed? And I was just like, I was straight edge in school.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, but they were like, white kids were like, yo, that's gonna be badass. That's gonna be so cool. But all the black kids were just like, comb your hair, buckwheat.
Yeah.
Just like
That's exactly what I went through too. And it was like, I remember people trying to roast me, but the thing is like, I'm very hard to roast because like I come back
That's
fast.
facts.
But like I have lost friendships over my roasting skills. You know what I'm saying? Like legitimately, or people come back like, that thing you said to me 9 years ago, it's been affecting me every day since. But I'm like, yeah. But people were trying to. I was just like, you know what? Like I'm gonna have like a 3-year ugly phase, and then I'm gonna just deal with it. I didn't even want to. I just wanted a giant afro, but my mom was like, not letting it happen. She's like, lock it up or cut it. So I just went and got it done. She's like, go find a spot. I went and got it done. She was like, because, bro, I used to show up to the barber, and I would just sit down there, just start buzzing my head. Like my parents would call ahead and be like, yo,
no way.
As soon as he sits in the chair, because I always just wanted a big fro. And I felt like unnatural having short hair. Like it made me want to hurt somebody. It was weird. Like,
wow.
Like I needed hair, but this didn't even really want it. I wanted a big giant fro. Like, but she just never would let it.
That old Jackson 5 fro.
Yeah. Oh, bro, and I used to have pink lotion in my shit. I'll go crazy. I'll be picking it all day. I'll spend like an hour on my hair in the morning, like as a child.
Damn.
Like, like I gotta have the. And then my mom would never braid it, and it was like when everybody had the cornrows and stuff, she was not letting it happen. So I was just like, all right, then I'm fro gang, and she was like, no, you're gonna lock it up or you're gonna cut it again.
Hey, fro gang was hard though.
Yeah, she wasn't trying to have it though. Yeah,
I really wanted like a Jerry curl mullet. Like that's honestly, I mean, it wasn't doable, but I wanted like the Fawcett, like the Farrah Fawcett, like late 70s Eddie Van Halen type of, but that was not doable. So like, but
oh man,
he's doing like the Elder Bars.
Yeah.
Who's like, the bully from
the Jerry curl
that Kid and Play movie, Class Act?
Oh,
the bully,
the
big buff dude. Like that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
Hold on,
that group.
I wanted a Jerry curl mullet.
Kid and Play. Well,
not
kick your fucking ass.
Yeah. Not the dude with the high top, but the other dude. Man, I don't even know his name. But yeah.
But they were a group. They were like a rap group. Yeah. Full Force.
Full Force. Yeah, Full Force.
Full Force. Yeah.
That was a group back then. Yeah.
Full Force.
The crazy Jerry curl. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys were a grip of bands before Zulu.
Yeah.
Any bands together before Zulu?
No.
Wow.
I was a fill-in for Zulu.
Okay.
While he was on tour with Wise, I was just doing one show.
Shred Bundy.
Oh, Shred Bundy.
Yeah,
Shred
Bundy.
Bundy.
Which is a great name, Shred Bundy.
Thank you.
The way that shit worked out, so Zane,
and how you guys
who's
met
like,
each other,
Yeah.
Zane, who's in, well, they're not Wacko anymore, New God.
Formerly known as Wacko, New
Formerly
God.
known as Wacko. Zane and I have been talking about doing an all-black band for like 6 years. So then I'm just going through Instagram one day, and I see an all-black band that Zane is in playing on at Chain Reaction, and I was like, I'm going to kill this nigga. Like literally, like my first thought, I was like, how dare? I was like, this nigga didn't even put this shit on the radar. And then like 2 days later, he was like, yo, do you want to fill in for my all-black band? And I'm like, yeah, bitch, I should have been in it already. You know, like, and then he's like, dude, it's like 10 minutes worth of material. I'm like, cool.
10 minutes worth of material?
Yeah, the songs were hard as hell. I was like, bro, who wrote this? Like, y'all are psychos. Because it did like the timing. It was like playing jazz songs.
Right.
And it was so fast. And I was like, all right, y'all are crazy. But I just learned the songs in like 3 days. And then you know, we played the show, and they're like, that's cool. And they're like, hey, do you want to jam with us when Braxton's back? So went, and then he was like, Anaya's just like, yo, Dez in the band now. Everyone's like, all right, cool. And then that's just how it happened. Like,
What year was this?
2019.
2019 going into 2020.
Yeah.
Might have been 2020.
It was 2019 that where I filled in.
Like
yeah.
December.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
December.
yeah.
Before the
Damn, that's not too long ago. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So I'd seen Anaya around for years. We didn't really know each other.
Yeah.
Like, I just seen him around for years, and I was like, man, I should talk to that guy one day, and then I just wouldn't. But I was like kind of ducked off from hardcore at the time, because from like just actually I had a bad taste in my mouth from like late 2010s. Just I booked a lot of shows. Like, as a kid, I had a house in Orange County where like a lot of crazy shows happened. Like, in my living room, we could fit like 200-300 people in there.
Wow, dude.
There's
Holy shit.
like if you type in Trash Talk the Cabin, it's like 250,000 views on that fucking, like, they played in my living room. I had Rival Mob, Mongoloids,
Holy shit.
Zabulba and Joyce Manor were
Shout
like
out
my
to
house
Nate.
bands. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, Nate would call me up, be like, hey man, could we just do you want to rap? And then we're gonna play in your living room like on Saturday. And I'd be like, yeah. And then like 60 of his homies would pull up, and we would just like do it like that, like all the time. Like,
wow, dude.
there'd be these fools like wrestling in my kitchen and shit. Like, it's just, and I was 19, 20 at the time. Joyce Manor played in my house a lot. Like, a lot of cool shows happened there. But I had a bad taste in my mouth because I dealt with some bands where there was like a lot of casual racism. But like, I always looked crazy trying to like give them the perspective.
Yeah.
I've been like, yo, like, this is why you cannot say this shit to me. And I was always treated like I was overreacting.
Right.
Mhm.
And that put such a bad taste in my mouth. And then I got jumped at the fucking Holy Moly in Long Beach, infamous place, by some punk hardcore dudes. But they were in a band that was like pretty big at the time, but they were using a lot of like N-word. So I saw them at a show, and the people I was with, like, only one person was trying to like defend me and get them out the show, and that, like, it turned me off crazy. So I stopped going to shows for like a cool minute, and then when I did go, I would just like sit in the corner, like not talk to anyone or anything.
Fuck, man.
So like, I had seen some people around for years, and I just wouldn't even speak to them because I was just like really going for the bands and like not chopping it up with people at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dealt with a lot of like bullshit, like.
And you're putting on shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But still, people like, they just might make a casual black joke, and I'd be like, nah, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
Why do they feel compelled to do that shit in front of you?
who knows?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's my
It's hard to
time.
even believe, like, it seems so, like,
What's good?
It's crazy to hear like that in the heart, because we grew up in the hardcore scene where it's about open-mindedness, and we would fucking fight Nazis. There was no Nazis at New York shows.
I mean, this shit, we never let it fly by.
Almost all the
you
skinheads
step
and
to
crews
it.
weren't even white in New York, and it just like people just get ran out of the scene if that shit happened.
Exactly.
They would go to
Like,
Pennsylvania
you
or
would
Jersey,
get
but
stepped
like
to immediately. Like,
I
there's no
think-
way.
In
our generation,
Southern
man.
California hardcore, I mean, there's a lot of like,
And you said the OC, right?
yeah,
The
Orange County,
Curtain?
like
Yeah.
a lot of people.
That's crazy.
I think a lot of people can't even grasp, because it's so deep rooted. I think they can't even grasp like what they're saying or what they're doing is like is messed
makes
up.
sense.
So there's sometimes, and it's not my job to educate people. I used to try, but
Right. Yeah.
it's
It
not,
is
and
your job.
and that burden is not mine.
Mhm.
But there was a lot of instances like, and to be real, it was a lot of like kids who grew up with privilege and wealth that were getting into hardcore at that time,
Mm.
Mhm.
and you know, their parents would buy them a back line, you
Right.
know, and
Best
and-
guitar on the line. Yeah.
and you know, and they were talented. They were
Right.
talented
Yeah.
kids, and there was like, I'm not gonna call anyone out by name. There's some really good bands, but like, you know, I knew these motherfuckers. Like, they're privileged kids, like,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes they would just say some shit where I'm like, yo, nah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And my patience wore out, and I started to flip out on people. And I figured I'd just remove myself from it instead of like continuing to look
Right.
like, just, I really look like an angry black man trope, as
Mm.
opposed to like someone who is just trying to like stand his ground, you know?
Mhm.
So
It's nuts how, like, I was going to shows in like the Inland Empire, and it was a totally different world. Like,
okay.
like I would see Peckerwoods at like a DI show, Peckerwoods at the Agent Orange show,
Right.
Peckerwoods everywhere. Like, and that was the thing. Was good.
This
I
is
dealt-
unreal, man.
I dealt with a lot of. Where are you from?
From
Arizona.
You're from Arizona.
Yo,
okay.
but not to interrupt this story.
Yo, did he just say Pegger was at a DI show?
Yeah, dude.
I used to love DI, man.
Me too.
Me too.
I saw him in 09. I was like super young, 2010, 09, something like that. Maybe 2011.
Great songs,
2011.
great
yeah.
records. Yeah,
Right, was Richard hung himself?
So Richard hung
himself.
himself.
yeah.
but less than 6 months ago, the only show that we didn't roll up to was Chappelle's band played, and he had a Peckerwood run-in
at the DI
at a DI show.
Still?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he had nobody there with him.
I had
None
nobody
of us.
there
Oh
with
my
him. I mean,
God.
I looked at my band. I was like, damn. I think I'm the only one that's been in a brawl. It's my band.
That's crazy.
I was
No.
like, I think I'm outnumbered. It was
you got to keep at least 1-2 brawlers in the band.
I know.
man.
Yeah,
So
dude.
my band already had played, and we were
Mhm.
staying to watch another homie play, and all of a sudden we're just standing there. They're like setting up, and then the Woods walk in, and I was like, shit! I knew immediately. You know the look,
The vibe. Yeah.
You know the vibe. You know
There's
the
an
look.
energy with it.
Energy.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they roll like in a pack, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't actually fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they really-
exactly.
yeah.
So like they rolled in, and then I'm kind of just standing there. My guitar player, he knew exactly what was up too, and then we're just like kind of looking, and all of a sudden, I'm talking to some guy that was like, "Yo, dude, I really fucks with your band," and I was like, "Oh shit, hell yeah!" And we're like talking, and then their big homie, I don't know, whoever sent over there, like one of their like smaller guys to come over and like, tough guy bumped me.
Kept bumping
And I
into
was like,
him.
all right. And he was walking right in between the conversation that I was having.
Ah,
Yeah.
And
hell
so I'm
no.
sitting here like it's like some prison yard shit.
Yeah.
American
right?
History X type
So I'm
shit.
sitting here and I'm like,
legit.
fuck. I was like, all right. I was like, I'm just gonna leave. I was like, fuck it, who cares? I was like, I'm outnumbered. I was like, why would I fight this? It's like stupid. I'd rather
Yeah.
just
You gotta know. You gotta know.
you gotta know, yeah. And
Yeah.
I told my so I drove there with my drummer, and I told him, I said, yo, I was like, I'm gonna wait outside. You go ahead and watch the homie play, but I'll just be outside and just come out after. He goes, wait, why are you leaving? I was like, there's some woods here, trying to be funny. And then he was like, where? And he looks back. He looked right at them. And I was like, yo.
Smooth move.
And I was like, no.
That's so crazy.
They didn't, eventually I just pieced out. But, yeah, they rolled up. They rolled up.
That shit bummed
It
me
was
out
like-
so much.
And that was the one time.
2023,
They've
that
come
shit
to like
still
every single
happens,
one of
dude?
my band shows. And that was the one time they didn't pull up.
I know,
Damn.
dude.
It's in the IE. It was everywhere. I was at Burger King. I was sitting down. It was a Burger King near my house. I can walk there from my house. Some dude walks up, Swazi tat. He was like, "You got a real pretty mouth."
What the?
It's crazy.
Yo.
And like it's nuts, but I was
It
it was nuts. But I would see. I saw hella bands where it's like people would be like, okay, like they're over there, just keep your distance, and like people would be like cower away from them. Now I feel like it'd be like gang mentality there, get stomped out, crazy.
Hell yeah.
But
That's fucking
saw-
scary too
I-
as a kid going to shows and
yeah,
shit.
I
and
saw
like-
a gang of bands where that was the vibe. It's crazy.
and the bands tolerate that shit.
It's nuts.
Yeah, that's
Good
my
ass.
problem.
That just seems like a weird thing to say too. You gotta like pretty much like what's he trying to?
Yeah,
What's
I
up,
mean,
Max, ladies and gentlemen?
It was
Hello.
good.
What's up? Yeah.
It's
That,
fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like some movie
Didn't
shit.
you have,
It was
like,
nuts. It was legit like American History X. It was
Yeah.
good.
I don't know if your impression of the OC was, but from
Oh,
growing
God.
up, so being on the East Coast, I didn't know anything just from reading
Same.
fanzines and stuff. And I'd be like, Orange County, this is where all these dope
Uniform
punk
Choice, all
bands,
these bands, yeah.
Yeah,
a million bands that I love were coming from. This place must be magical, And then I realized all the songs they're writing about is the fucked up shit happening there,
Yeah.
and that kind of like environment, and they were like
Yes.
rebelling against it. So that's why there were so many rebellious bands. And I understand what they were writing about, but I just thought it was like a magical place where all these bands are coming from, and it's
Seal
chill
Beach.
and
OCIE is crazy. Like, you remember Guttermouth?
yeah.
Yes.
My homegirl went to the Guttermouth show, got stabbed at the Guttermouth show. We were like,
Guttermouth?
Fuck, like a punk band.
exactly, Guttermouth. That's why it's crazy. So it was like, it was either everyone, because it was like, the IE, if there was a show, everybody went to it. But there was one night where it was like Total Chaos and Hemet. Remember Total Chaos?
Yeah, it's on
Total
Epitaph,
Chaos
yeah.
and Hemet, or Guttermouth and Temecula. I went to Total Chaos at a roller rink in Hemet, the Wheelhouse. My homegirl got stabbed at the Guttermouth show. And some Woods pulled up during Woods at the Guttermouth show is insane. Like, it's
So
insane.
crazy, dude.
And I
No,
see it
they-
now. It's
They
like,
like that shit. There'll be woods at rap shows. Like in
What?
Southern California, it doesn't make sense. Like legitimately.
It's crazy.
Well, that was the thing with me. Like, you know, my band playing with Di. And like Di has songs that makes fun of that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was like. Wow. I was like, what the fuck they doing here? Like, but me, like I said, it was just that. I don't know. It's just weird shit that they actually show up to these shows.
Dude, there were Nazis back in the day at Dead Kennedy shows. They were singing Nazi punks fuck
That's
off.
crazy.
And then
crazy.
fucking the crowd starting fights in
But
DC
they
and all
get
these shows.
stomped out.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I mean,
Stomped
There was
out.
a
I mean-
show, like, I think this year or last year, like Blue Eyed Devils, a bunch of trash was playing.
Oh, that festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it got stomped out. Like, it was like a big, it was somewhere in East LA or somewhere in LA. Like, it was like a, if you know type show that they were trying to circulate.
Yeah, they didn't post the address or
Yeah,
anything
some
like that.
fools found
Okay.
out and just shut it down. Like, shut it down.
That's how it should be.
yo, no,
And I
absolutely.
saw all over
mean,
Instagram
we
and it
would
was
be
crazy.
living for that shit. Like,
Blue
I
Eyed
remember getting
Devils.
excited, like, oh, here we go. Yes.
No,
Yes,
yeah.
it's
I got-
on. Like, I wish you wouldn't. I was like, yeah, oh, they're going to get so stomped
I've for
out.
sure got homies that love the idea. Just like, yo, here we go. Let's take them out.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because it was just impossible
Yeah.
to have that thrive in the scene. You know, it was just like uncomfortable. It just didn't, it just wasn't going to happen.
And for us growing up, what attracted us to punk rock and hardcore was being a misfit, was coming from maybe fucked up households. Everybody's equal, you
Yeah.
know, community, unity, all that shit. That's what attracted us growing up, our
Yeah.
generation, and everybody was welcome. And it's crazy to think that, you guys get threats, different things we were talking about earlier, because of the color of your skin, and you're playing hardcore and punk rock, which has been around for fucking million years. And there's been
It's nuts.
a bunch of bands that came and went, and it's like, it's sad. It's
Yeah.
just because people don't
Yeah.
really listen to the lyrics or what the shit's about
Obviously
in the first
not.
place,
I think a lot of stuff for people is like feeling included by some, like it's cool to not be cool in a way, but it becomes the cool club,
Right.
Yeah.
So like I think people don't really like tap into what, like I can never just listen, even with rap, like just listen to the beat. People are like, I just like the beat, because I'm like, yeah, the lyrics are trash. Like
Right.
I can't do that. Like the lyrics have to speak to
Same.
me.
Yeah.
And
me
I think
too.
a lot of people don't even process what
True.
they're listening to at all. So, they may not gather that there's a bigger message here. It's not just something to go beat the shit out of each other to, And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you're right.
I don't get down that way. I can understand why maybe people don't want to think about this shit. It's daunting and it's
Yes.
overwhelming. Like I have to wake up and hold on, I'll let you go by.
I mean, Sip had a song called Soundtrack for Violence.
Yeah.
This is not your soundtrack for violence, where people go,
Yeah.
they can get fights off and not get in trouble, not get arrested, punch somebody, whatever,
Yeah,
like
sound
just start shit.
Yep.
Because the music makes you want to go hard sometimes, you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
So like Malachi from Scowl.
Shout out to Malachi Pascal, man. He's the best.
We've been like last year, we spent like tons of time together, and he was like, yo, like I knew racism was real, but like he's like the covert shit, that's the weird shit, because you can't like really pinpoint it, but you just know something weird is happening, you know, where it's like that's the stuff that I think like you can't really get other people to understand unless they're trying to pay attention.
Yeah.
And it's daunting to pay attention. It is a huge undertaking. It's a big task. So I'm less mad than I used to be.
Right.
People like not paying attention to shit, but like no one's gonna convince me my thing is not my thing. Like what I'm going through. I had a situation 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna put like any of the companies on blast, but this was like an event. My car got stolen from valet. My catalytic converter got stolen. I went and found my own car, Mexi and Malachi and stuff. I had an air tag in it. We would just go and get the car, and they pull up with me and Veldy, and like I'm like, okay, cool. Catalytic converter's gone. I pull back up to the event, and long story short, I basically got told to fuck off, like with my car getting stolen from valet when I was trying to figure out who's liable for this shit. And it's like, I mean, it might turn to something else. We might have to cut this out, but
Okay.
this is
Right.
it was like a situation where I'm like, yo, like if I was there was tons of musicians there that didn't have this skin
Right.
color.
Mhm.
I'm like, would you have told like one of these other artists, one of these famous white people to fuck off? Like,
Mhm.
I like, that is crazy to me.
That is fucking
And like my
crazy.
friends that were there were just like, oh shit, we know exactly why they're talking to you like this. And they're like, damn, now we're starting to see this shit like. But I don't even think the people who were mistreating me knew why they were mistreating me. Sometimes I feel like
you're right in saying this, because I think there's a lot of things that happen where people have just been around. It's not giving an excuse to it, but it definitely sheds some light on maybe why they're acting that way,
right?
Or because they've just been around that for such a long time.
Yeah,
they haven't been around anything different from that, and so of course I don't think they would see it as being wrong. If everybody else around them is just like, oh, I mean, I remember growing up and there were a lot of people that would say, white people that would say shit like, this guy's Jewing me down. He's Jewing me down. I got a lot of Jewish friends like, damn.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I was like, yo, that's not, like, unless you speak up and say something, like, they would just keep saying shit, like, all the time. And it was just like, yo,
Peace, Max.
Hey, you funny as hell, man. It's a lot of things that are like,
you gotta say shit.
Yeah.
You gotta speak up, but come on now. Like, I'd be like, and then the way that you approach it as well, like, I'm not gonna get like angry at them, but I'm gonna let them know like that's not sitting right with me.
Right.
Stuff is ingrained in people's psyche that they can't help but like just say things and not know. Like, there's like I have older family members who like mean the best, but there's stuff that they say that they don't know is rooted in a lot of crazy stuff. I'm like, yo, you can't say that. Like, oh, you're just being a neoliberal. I'm like, no, like, it's always been wrong, like.
yeah. It's always like people think you're being woke or whatever,
right,
which
yeah.
like, I'm like, yo, like, no, like, calling that person a derogatory slur based off their race has never been the move, bro. Like, why do you think that's chill? Or like talking to that woman like that has never been the move. Or being homophobic has never been the move.
Right.
Like, yes, we all did. Like, I mean, we're 90s and 2000s, baby. Like, we had Odd Future. We were the worst.
Oh,
like the shit we said, like we said insane shit. But
I grew up on like Carlos Mencia era Comedy Central, so like I was raised on like some crazy stuff.
Yeah, Carlos would say like the craziest shit.
Anything he could think of, just like the most insane stuff. Like,
even as a comedian now, it's interesting. Like, I make fun of white people on stage, quite a bit.
No holds bar for the white people though.
What'd you say?
No holds bar for the white people.
No holds bar.
Sorry,
but like the thing is like I kind of make fun of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I touch a lot of areas, but sometimes like when I do my shows, usually like I'll usually get a white person that'll come up and be like, well, why do you hate white people? I go, did you didn't hear the other shit I said? Yeah. I mean, I was like, that's the only portion you caught. I was
did
like,
did you hear me say the part was adopted by a white family?
Yeah. Like there's so much shit that layers upon layers. I make fun of my dad for being in prison. My biological father for being, like I make fun of literally a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, people like pick and choose
what they're offended by.
What they're offended by.
Yeah.
And that is my problem.
And also, I'm always like, I always say this. I go, well, if you got offended by it, then it was meant for you. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, well, take it that way. Because if you didn't take it that way and you understood what I'm saying, then that's like chill. You know what I mean? Like that, then you get it. Also, I'm not going up to fucking make you feel good inside.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going up there to tell like.
Well, I kind of feel at the end of the day, besides your job is to be funny, but also why is this funny? Like reflection. I think that's part of like comedy.
Yeah.
Like
And
you got to think about
the
it.
Majority of my stuff is just me telling exactly my environment.
Yeah.
They're like, why do you go so hard on white people? I was like, that's who I've been around.
Yeah, I've been asked that a bunch of times too, because like I go like, and I have a lot of white friends. Like I went to white schools. Like, but it gave me a lot of perspective, and I'll be like roasting the fuck out of my white friends.
But I make fun of a lot of black shit.
Yeah, I do too, though. Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm like, oh, okay,
I'm like, wait, is your trash can visible in here?
Nah, he ain't got a trash.
You can never find a white person's trash can. It's always under a cabinet. That's an
I don't have a trash can.
See what he did there?
I don't even have a trash can.
Come on
I don't even
now.
have a fucking trash can,
He
too.
didn't even have a trash can. It was funny.
That's crazy. I
but
respect that.
majority of the time,
Yeah.
it's under the cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
I
noticed
never have-
that. Yeah, I actually have noticed that. That's really crazy.
I've never, hey, yo, I've never understood that. That's interesting.
You should add that to your shit,
They
bro.
always trying to hide the
Nah,
dirty
that's his joke.
parts.
That's his joke.
They're trying to hide that. No, you can have that for free. They always try.
When I film it, I'll say Dez wrote that one.
Hell no, you could just have it. I'm a real one. But yeah, I think a lot of people just can't like. I think the collective ego is just a little too self-centered in like a lot of areas, you know. And I think people can't. They don't want to do the work to really like get to the bottom of why they behave a certain way, why they think a certain thing. Like I actually have never really had the privilege to be that ignorant. My mom didn't let me. My environment didn't let me. So I've just like been forced to grow, which, you know, is painful. I think a painful process, but like ultimately done very well for me in like the grand scheme and the bigger picture, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people I'm around could say the same thing. We just didn't really have that. Like ignorance is, and I say ignorance is bliss for a reason, you know, because it's a privilege like that I think only a certain type of people get to have or experience, whether it be because you have wealth or you're isolated among people that just look and live like you. But, you know, I don't have that shit. I don't think anyone in this room really has had that. So, you know.
It's definitely hard for people to question their foundation.
Yeah.
You know, like to really change that up, especially at an older age.
Yeah.
You know, people have a hard time admitting that they're wrong or to change something, you know, that's so concrete, you know, they were born with, you know, or just as tradition, you know, that element, you know, it's difficult for people to change up, you know, but it's inevitable. It has to happen. Right. It doesn't have to happen, but it's, you know, for everything to evolve in this world, you know, it's always moving. It's changing. That's just life in general, you know.
It's the same thing I said about like relaxing isn't like a privilege, it's a skill.
Yeah.
I think the same thing about being wrong. Like being wrong is a skill. And I try to practice it as much as possible.
The accountability.
Yeah, where I'm like,
yo,
why did I feel so strongly about this? Okay, let me take a step back. Right. Like, is there a possibility that I'm wrong? Okay, let me take some other like vantage points. You know what I'm saying?
Super important.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that it helps me in so many areas of my life. I think that's what makes me like decent at a lot of things that I do is that I'm able to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then recalibrate. And I think like recalibrating is important, but you know, being wrong is such an inferior feeling to some people that I feel like they just don't want to experience it.
And so many people cannot like accept it. And
it's
it's okay to accept. It's like once you realize it, it's like, oh, well, the shit. And then you learn something.
Yeah. And it's like there might be a little embarrassment that comes along with it or whatever, but like ultimately, you know, I think the goal is like I want to be the part. I don't want to play the part. So it's like being wrong helps me get closer to what I'm trying to do ultimately.
Yeah, and so there's this weird thing. There's this weird thing that people can do that can't admit when they're wrong, is when they're called out for the thing that they did wrong, and then all of a sudden they change it to they're the victim because now they're being attacked.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of that, and I've seen a lot of it.
I've never seen a lot of that.
Right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of it, like in so many different ways, and it's like, hey, if you just held accountability, most people would just lay off of you. But sometimes they like, I don't know if that's like a narcissistic thing or what. I don't know what it is or where the root of it is. But it's an interesting thing to watch. I see that, and I hate to even say that, but like, you know, you see it a lot more than you see someone being able to step back and go, nah, I fucked up.
I try to give some grace because I think part of it is a lot of like people's childhood shit. So because because you know, being wrong a lot of times led to being grounded or being spanked or something, you know. But it's like, you know, I'm an adult now. Nobody's finna spank me.
Listen, this may sound crazy, but I'm always interested, you know, like in some of these like woods and like skins. I'm like, how'd you get there?
Yeah, man.
How the fuck did you get there?
Shit starts in the home, man.
I'm like, just tell, like, I just want to know your story.
Definitely
like,
starts in the home.
How the fuck did you get there?
Dude. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that Henry Rollins said something like that. You know, he's like, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Like, I see what you're doing, but where's this from?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then all of a sudden, people start to like hear themselves, and they're like, well, you know, this, and this. Like, my dad treated me like this, which made me do this, and all of a sudden, like, all these people, I mean, there's so many times you hear, you know, like prison interviews or whatever, you hear these people with such wild stories and where the fuck it came from.
Yeah.
You know?
But the people that grew up not even being around black people and that are racist and they're just scared and just never met a person that wasn't the same as them, it trips me out that they can have so much hatred for somebody they never met before because of color of skin. And they never even been around a black person ever. That the shit trips me out. Like, you haven't met anybody in your
Yeah.
life.
And then when you question them, it's like, what is it that you don't like? Or, you know, like to pinpoint certain things down, then it's complete. They don't even know a lot of times. People don't even know what they're going hard for, you know? Like,
No.
that's what you said. It's really important to question what you. I think it's important to question everything that you're like, so extreme or so hyped up on. It's important to step back and be like, okay, why am I feeling so, you know, hatred or feeling for this or whatever? To question that is very difficult, but it's extremely important to do that.
There's a lot of overcompensating that goes on. There's a lot of just conditioning, and I think like a lot of people just, you know, when you're sick, it's called the condition, right? You know, like it's like that type of deal where it's like people are conditioned in certain ways and like just don't even realize it or don't want to realize it or don't want to have to, because changing is work.
Yeah.
Like changing is work.
Is.
And like I've had to make changes with how I treat, you know, different demographics of people, like, you know, with women.
Right.
You know, there's all these different ways where you have to like kind of wake up to how you behave and how it affects other people. And I think that's the other thing is a lot of people don't realize how they affect other people, the ripple effect. And I wouldn't have realized that if people weren't coming back to me 8-9 years later being like, yo, you roasted me this one time and I've been thinking about it for all this time and it actually messed with me in this way. And I'm like, damn, dog, that was a joke. And I'm like, well, if they're fucked up over my joke, what about when I did that actually malicious thing or this and that and this? And I'm like, all right, man, I got to
people
like
need to just
start.
like unlearn a lot of like negative traits that were from like the previous generation.
Yeah.
And and it's our burden to like shake off, you know, the
it's
shit that
really
that was put on us. Yeah, I mean, I would say like probably not your generation, but our parents.
Yeah.
Or I mean, their parents like really just put us in like a
no
a
doubt.
mental chokehold. Dog.
Like excessive spanking is from like slave trauma, which is like nuts to even think about.
Wow.
It's crazy to even think about.
Yeah.
So I know everybody had to get like beat like crazy growing up. It's like that's from the previous generation, not knowing how to deal with their trauma from like literally like seeing like slavery. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
That's
without a
crazy.
doubt. It's
The fucked up thing is so much shit just leads back to slavery. And it's like Kenya
nuts.
Barris, which is like a lot of people have questionable thoughts about Kenya Barris. He's done some funny things, but he had some show on Netflix and like every episode was like, it's because of slavery. No, really, it's because of slavery. And the next episode's like, no, dog, I told you it's because of slavery. And it's like you could really trace a lot of things back. And I think people have a hard time. That's like another reason why the systemic shit is crazy, because I think that's a lot for people to swallow too, and a lot to grasp. It's
like it's that foundation that this, you know, place was founded on, though. But it was founded on race.
Right.
You know, having a big deal.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone says, it always comes back to that. And the reason why people are like, oh, why you keep talking about this? Because that's what this country was literally founded on.
There's all these mannerisms. It goes viral on Twitter once a year where they're like, yo, why when something really funny happens amongst a group of black people and they all run away from each other? Think about that shit on the field. You better not be having a good ass time. Are you kidding me? And it's like we just inherit these things without even really thinking about them, you know? And it's really our job to like
generation. It's crazy.
Yeah. You just think about the foundation of what this is, and it's like, hey, it's okay to look at it. It's okay to look at that.
It's
There's
scary,
wrong.
but it's okay.
It's scary, but it's okay to look at it. Just go ahead and look at it.
Yeah.
And even after, you know, after slavery was over, you know, whatever, like it was still pretty tough. You know what I mean? There was a lot of shit that still went down. Like, why did Martin Luther King have to exist?
Right.
There was still shit popping off. You know, and Martin Luther King is post-slavery.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rosa Parks, all these people, Malcolm X, they're all post-slavery. So there was some shit that was still going on. There was no mistake as to why they existed.
Yeah.
The Panthers too.
The Panthers, I mean, there's so many different. I mean, there's so much to like name. You know, and it's hard for like a lot of people to just really comprehend that. You know, like, and I don't know. I remember one time I had to drop some knowledge on, like, so Arizona had this wild law where they could pull over anyone Mexican.
Yeah, I remember that shit. That was
insane.
Wow.
So that's why I'm from Arizona.
Yeah.
So they had this law where they could pull over any Mexican. No, you're good.
It's a big ass water you got too. That's good though. It's good for you.
But there, this guy I had worked with, white dude, he, I was just saying how that was like that's kind of bogus. That's
insane.
And he was like, he goes, they're always out there, and I had to correct him like in a cool way. Like he was like, he was just saying like, they're always out there like, doing shit and drinking and driving, and they're not here legally, whatever, blah blah blah. And I said, I looked at him and said, hey yo, I know you drink and drive all the time. You FaceTime me.
Damn.
That's crazy.
I was like, think about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, ain't nobody pulling you over.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I say that. You know what I mean? Like, and it pulled him back. And I explained it in a cool way. I wasn't gonna yell at him. I just said, hey man, like you FaceTime me drinking and driving.
Toe up drunk, whipping around.
So I was like, so you talk about these people that
That's
like,
crazy.
So why can't you get pulled over then?
Yeah.
You're always drinking and driving.
That's an insane law.
It's a totally insane law.
My buddy, I guess I won't put him on names. I'm not trying to put him on blast, but he's much older than me. He's like 15 years older than me. He drinks and drives all the time. White dude, white
That's
dude from Orange County.
About,
I could hear. White dude from Orange County, but he was just like, he's like, I've never ever once been pulled over or tailed by the cops. He's 40-something years old. He's like, and then you sat in my passenger seat and we got followed for 4 miles. He was like, how fucking insane is that? And I was like, yeah, bro. And he's like, this shit is real. And I'm like, yeah, bro.
hey, remember that time I got pulled over? Bro?
With me, yeah, man.
With you. The guy, he said I was on my phone. I said, I was not on my phone.
We had 2 liquid deaths between us, and he pulled up to me on a motorcycle, looked inside, he goes, pull over. I go, fuck, he thinks it's a liquid death. He thinks we're drinking. And he pulled over, and he goes, what are you drinking? We're like, it's water, officer.
Water,
and he's like, well, you were on your phone. I'm like, this motherfucker
and
wasn't on his phone. He tried to sun you, too.
And then he gave me the most stern look.
Like
and I
speech,
was like,
too.
He gave me a full speech.
He tried to sun him. Yeah, man.
I have a very similar story. I was 19, Halloween, so 2009. I had a rap show, but I was going to pick up my homegirl. So I used to pass out CDs. This is the time of CDs, you know what I'm saying? So I had a shoebox full of CDs, but my sidekick I threw in the shoebox, and I was just driving and like rapping along to my own songs, like practicing for the show,
That's
right?
sick.
But my shit's in the back. So I stop at the stop sign. I see a cop. I'm like, oh, look, a cop. And I just keep going. This nigga pulls me over 3 blocks down, right? He's like, why'd you run that stop sign back there? Or no. First he goes, why were you on your cell phone? And I was like, sir, I wasn't on my cell phone. And he's like, yeah, you were on your cell phone. You were talking on your cell phone. And I was like, I promise you I was not talking on my cell phone. And I was like, you mind? And he's like, go ahead. I'm like, I'm going to reach in the back in that shoebox under that jacket where my cell phone is. And I grabbed it. And I'm like, see? And he's like, you were definitely on your phone. I'm like, the cool thing about these new phones is they call log everything. I'm like, oh, look, I haven't responded to any text message in 10 minutes. Haven't responded to any phone call. I'm like, I always talk shit to cops, which I should stop. But I always do. Like, and he's just like, he's pissed, like just fucking livid at this point. And he goes, yeah, well, you ran the stop sign anyway. And I was just like, okay. So I actually ended up almost going to jail over that because I was like not succumbing. I wouldn't pay it.
Right.
It was like 5-6 year ordeal.
Wow.
But like, just because he was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, I wasn't on my cell phone. He just pulled me over for I don't know what fucking. I mean, it was Halloween, so they say quotas aren't real, but you know,
they're hella real.
Yeah. But that shit was crazy. I was like, yo, like, I straight up got a DWB, and I almost went to jail for it. You know, like,
holy shit.
Like that shit was crazy. But they suspended my license, so I just drove dirty for like 3-4 years. Like. Like, it was just really.
I've been dirty.
Yeah, it was really crazy. But I was like, man, that man really, like, just could not handle being wrong as fuck.
Yeah.
So
After that day with you, man. He wasn't even on his
yeah.
phone, dude.
That shit was nuts.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Brazil for like 20 years, and then a lot of times people would say to me, like, oh, racism doesn't exist here. And I was like, who are you talking with? You know, like,
yeah.
What world are you living?
Yeah.
You know, because immediately, like, there, I felt, I felt a lot of vibes going on. But I realized that a lot of people I was meeting were living in this type of bubble there.
Mm.
But I've gotten pulled over there like 5 times at least.
Why, you in an Uber, too?
In an Uber in the back. They thought I kidnapped the driver. A few times it was like
That's
once I was with
nuts.
my friend from Belgium and we're in the back and they thought I kidnapped him and the driver. The drivers were bugging out. They were like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like they had never seen anything like that. But I never really seen a lot of black people taking Ubers or taxis there ever. So it was like a weird thing for them to see like a black guy in the back of a car. You know, like at least that's my perspective that I've had. I just never see it that often.
They think it's weird and they're like, why he got money for this?
Or yeah, it's like what's going on? It's like either he.
Yeah.
So at one time leaving the airport, you know, they got guns drawn out. You know, they're definitely nervous, and I'm just like, yo, I got a passport. It's right here. I just arrived. You know, in Portuguese with, you know, an accent. And they're like, okay, this dude definitely has an accent. And then there's no apology or anything. It's just like guns back in and then just off. And the drivers that I'm usually with, they're just like, damn, I've never seen that shit happen before. I was like, oh, I have a few times.
That's insane.
That house that I lived in Orange County, I had a roommate 10 years older than me.
Oh, you told me about this.
Dude I worked with. But there was a lot of us. It was a big house that we were in.
How many people lived there?
It was 5 of us at the time. He got a misdemeanor DUI, which means he actually passed the sobriety test at the checkpoint, but blew like 0.2 over or 0.02 over, like very little. Like the legal limit was like 0.08. Like he was like barely over. It was like 0.0825 or something he got. So they give him this misdemeanor DUI. He doesn't go to the last class. You have to go to like the series of classes. They raided our house over that. So we threw a show. I don't know what show. It was a Zabulba show, I think, the night before. And like, but they were gone, but I'd partied all night. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I go to pee. I see a flashlight coming up my stairs. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And there's like, boom, gun, like big gun in my face. And I'm like, yo, what? And they're like, come downstairs. They're like, are you Damon? And I'm like, no, I'm not. That fool's foot taller than me and 10 years older than me. But he had locks too. And they're just like, nah, you look like you might be him. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, start going down my stairs. There's a cop sitting at my piano in the living room, just shittily playing. And I go, are you serious? And he goes, shut the fuck up. Like, this is 6:30 in the morning. He just looks at me and goes, shut the fuck up, playing my piano horribly. So I go and sit down. There's like 8 cops in my living room, and they're just like questioning me, having me pull my hair back, telling me to stand straight and all this stuff, and like holding up photos to the side of my face and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yo, like, would y'all have put in all this effort if it wasn't just like a misdemeanor DUI? That's crazy. That's a lot of resources. They had crazy guns too. Like, I didn't know. It was Orange County Sheriffs. They had crazy guns. But when they finally left, because they're like, it's not you, that was like 8 cops in the house. Like 8 more came from around the house. So it was like 16 cops, machine guns, big trucks, like a full-on raid for a DUI. And my roommate goes like, yo, all this for a misdemeanor DUI? And they go, we're bored. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh my
and that was like,
dude.
that was actually one of the things that made me like get out of Orange County. But that's like, that's the type of shit, man. It's just like not wanting to be wrong. I'm surprised not more happened to me that day.
Right.
Because they were really trying to make me be that guy.
We're bored.
Yeah. Also, I know we're probably way off subject.
No, it's okay.
Probably want to talk about. You probably want to know about the band.
Yeah, how'd you guys meet? How'd you guys end up playing this? How'd you guys meet and become together for Zulu?
Yeah, that's pretty much, like, I was on tour with my other band.
Yeah.
And Dez was my fill-in, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And I came back, oh, hey, hello, Dez. Is that your name, Dez, right?
You're in the
First
band
time
now?
meeting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we met at band practice. But Zane
And
was
then you
like,
drove
yo,
me
this
back
dude.
to Elsinore.
Oh, I drove you back to Lake Elsinore because long before I was in the band, this dude, Zane, was saying, like, yo, Braxton's like the most dedicated musician I know. He doesn't drive. He's taking the train back and forth and the bus back and forth.
Like you did today.
Elsinore.
Yeah.
It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, and he's doing this all the time. And I was like, yo, like, it's a long drive. So, like, that bus journey and, like, daunting and, like, dealing with other people, I'm like, that's crazy. So I just drove him back, and then we chopped it up. And then I was like, man, this dude's cool. Like, him and I were definitely, like, boys
Tapped
in the
in.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, but I was just in the band after that. And I think they liked, I'd been sitting on ideas for something like this for so long, like literally a decade, that it was just like, they're like, oh yeah, like you're in the band for sure. And they're just like, you know, then my input was being appreciated, which, you know, I liked. And then, you know, the collaboration started happening with like ideas. And at the time there was a temporary drummer who was a fill-in. And so we started the journey of looking for a new drummer. And I was like, yo, outside of like a practice space, I was like, yo, what if we got a black woman? And then literally on some like weird universe shit, at the same time that was happening, Christine, there was no Zulu Instagram or anything. Christine had seen a video of Zulu playing before I was in the band at Chain Reaction and just went and seeked out like anyone from the band's Instagram, found Anaya, followed him. She had a bunch of drum videos up.
Wow.
Anaya's like, yo, you're sick. You want to jam? She's like, yeah. Where are you at? Arizona.
Wow.
I was like, me, Zane, did you go with this? You didn't go with this, huh? Or no, it was it was
Zane couldn't go.
Zane couldn't go, but I was like, yo, like hop in the Honda.
Really?
Arizona.
Let's go to Arizona. I was like,
Out
hop
to
in the
Arizona?
Honda. We threw our
Yeah.
cabs in there and we drove, and then we jammed with her for like 4 or 5 hours.
And her mom had hella snacks.
Yeah,
like,
her mom
hella snacks.
Her mom like
Yeah.
prepped it because
So
it was
lit.
like we didn't call it a tryout, but it was kind of like, you know what it was that was very impressive is like Anaya was like, yo, do you maybe want to jam? And then the next day she sent a video of her playing all the songs.
All the
Oh,
songs, flawlessly,
that's fucking
flawlessly.
dope.
And like doing vocals too, and we were just like, oh, you're crazy. So like we
Totally.
went, we jammed with her, and we're like, this is sick. We like worked out some kinks, and we're like, yo, do you want to play? Like, you want to come out and play a show with us? And then the rest was
We had
kind
a
of
live
History.
stream,
yeah, we had a live
and then
stream.
our first show was with Spy and Scalp in the Bay, San Jose, and that was like our like first show at this lineup, and it was nuts.
What year was that?
To 2021.
Wow, man.
Yeah, 2021. So the
So
well,
we
there
only played
was
3 shows before that, like 3 or
Yeah.
4, maybe 5 shows.
Zane was really busy with Wacko, so he left the band, and then we got Satchel like filled in, but just ended up staying too. It's kind of just how we do it for the live stream. But yeah, we played that show in the Bay at the X Bar. You said Spy and
Scalp, and then this band Shadow Man, shout out Parker. It was like a crazy band from the Bay.
yeah at X Bar. That was the drive where I was like, yo, I'm gonna make this one-off shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make this one-off shirt to wear at one of our shows that says "Abolish White Hardcore," and they're like, "Yo, that's hard." And I was like, "Yo, let that be a band shirt." And I was like, "No,
I thought
that's
it was
for
so
me."
funny. I was like,
And it was
crying
like
there.
they're like, everyone's like, "No, that's hilarious. Like, it's
Yeah.
got to be merch." And I'm like, "Nah, that's for me." And then, like, they're just like badgering me for like 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Like, whatever. Like, I'm always like for the greater good, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's go. And then Anaya mocked it up on his phone. And I mean, we know the stories like that. It just went crazy. We were on tour with Scowl and Head to Wall. And who else?
That was it.
Scowl and Head to Wall. We did like a little Southwest run. But we were outside of like some gas station, and Chrissy took photos of the shirt,
Oh,
and then it got
yeah.
posted on Facebook, and then
And
like
it went crazy.
we
And,
didn't
like,
even know for like hours because we're in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
or whatever, and then we're just like, it's like, yo, there's like 100 comments on this shirt, and I'm like, what?
And there's something people were reaching because I had like a Warrant cherry pie shirt, but it was like cropped. Like, how dumb is it he cropped that shirt? Like, he should have
Yeah,
left
yeah.
it normal. I was like,
yeah, like people just
like,
being like mad at Braxton.
just finding anything they could do
Wow.
to flame
And
us.
I was
Like,
just
it
like,
crazy.
I was
It
like,
crazy.
oh, here we go. And then
Right.
it's just like, we had just started the Instagram, and then I was like, oh, this person said they're going to kill us. Oh, this person said don't come to New York. Oh, this and that and this. Like, one dude was like, yo, when y'all come to New York, we'll see what you have
Yes.
to say about this.
Little
And I
scrawny
was
dude.
like, yo, I was like, record this video, and I was like, shut up before I abolish your existence. And the dude was like, you will see how tough you're talking when you come to New York, et cetera, et cetera.
we were in
like
New York
making-
chilling.
yeah,
Like,
making valid threats.
We were
he was
hella
making crazy
chilling.
threats, and I was like, yo, I'll put you on the guest list.
yeah,
It's
it was like,
all
pull up,
good.
let's pull up. Let's
And
let's
I
good.
was like, I didn't say anything crazy, but I was like, maybe ask around, you know? And then he ended up apologizing. He said a very sincere apology.
Wow.
Shout out Draco. My DM's full of sincere apologies. Yeah, he said a sincere
Wow.
apology, but that was like, because we did the Knot Fest interview where we explained the shirt. But yeah,
Yeah.
like people like really took it to heart. I wasn't on TikTok.
What was the explanation?
Yeah,
just for people.
yeah.
I
might
was
be
saying,
wondering.
get rid of the idea that hardcore is just a white space.
Right.
That we weren't out here like, oh, there's one killer white guy. It wasn't like that. Like
Right.
it wasn't like some death squad. Like It was literally just like, yeah, if people were thinking we're just like, there's a video that said that we're like a black nationalist, like terrorist group.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because
Crazy.
people were contacting the venues trying to get the tour shut down or get us kicked off.
Yeah.
But my whole thing, like, my whole reasoning for the stuff for that shirt anyway, it was like, part of it was we were, like I said, I booked a lot of shows. I was around a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Number one, I stopped listening to hardcore for like a very long time because I can predict a riff from like 45 seconds ahead. Because I know where, like, I'm like, cool. Like, and I get it. Like, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but it's like, try something, you know? And then beyond that, the lyrical, the subject of like, okay, you got betrayed. Okay,
You got stabbed in the back.
Yeah, you got
hate your
stabbed
city,
in the
you
back.
hate your city.
Okay, someone was talking shit.
Yeah.
Cool, like these are just
Came back on
things
that,
that
yeah.
happen in life, bro. Like, but like me having to hear it for the last 15 years, like I don't like. Let's not harp on it, bro. Let's move on. Like,
Move on,
But
yeah.
I was just like, yo, we're covering the same subject matter over and over again, and it's by the same people that look the same and like do the same things. There's like, you know, it's supposed to be this radical thing, but there's a uniform. There's a way to do lyrics. There's a way to play guitar.
Yeah.
There's a way to present yourself, and like all of that was just lame to me. So the thought of like abolish white hardcore is like, it wasn't to threaten anyone's existence. Is really like, yo, just like take a look at once again your foundation. Like, why are you doing these things? It's just what you've seen over and over again. Like, go reach for some different references. Go do something different. Let's expand this. And also, let's see other people. Like, I was tired of being tokenized. I was tired of seeing other people I know be tokenized in it. And, like, in reality, in hardcore, I've seen white dudes try to pit black dude against another black dude, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, that, it's just
Wow.
lame. And it's lame. And my whole, I was just like, nah, enough. Like, and enough was, like, boiled down to 3 words. Like, abolish white hardcore. Like,
You know, growing up in Arizona, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but like, anytime I went to a show and there was another black person there,
Are you guys brothers?
they would always look at me like,
yeah.
"Fuck you doing here?" I go, "Hey man, like, bro, what do you mean? What are you doing here? Like, we're doing the same shit." Like, I would get that all the time, and it was like it was this most uncomfortable thing because I was always like a lone wolf. Like, I went to shows by myself. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't do crew shit. I didn't do cliques. I just loved the music so much. And so anytime I'd pull up, like, you know, so if this black dude didn't like me, then I didn't really care that much because I'm already here alone. You know what I mean? But it was always weird whenever that would happen. It was almost like it almost felt like in a weird way, this kind of gatekeeping thing. Like, oh, I'm you know,
I'm somebody here.
Because like you're conditioned to live. You're conditioned to live your life in like to try to appeal to like white people. So you, as a kid, you would want to be tokenized just so you can be like, oh, see, look, finally I'm the good one, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And I was always there. I had like boneheads come to shows, like I said at the DI show. You know, man, you're one of the good ones. You're not like the other ones. And as a kid, that was like, oh, thanks, man. But growing up, I was like, no, that's just horrible.
So it's the worst thing you could ever hear.
That's awful.
Yo,
That's
that's
super
It's the
awful.
worst thing you could ever hear.
I got in trouble for hitting someone because they were like, well, there's black people and there's niggers, but you're just a black person, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like that. And that
That was
I
told
probably,
to me by my homie's girlfriend.
yeah, I probably heard that exact sentence like 100 times.
Like,
you
it's
know?
crazy.
And
Like-
it's like that. And that's the thing. But like you want to assimilate so bad. You want to have some acceptance because you're tired. You're exhausted. So you want to have some acceptance. So you do appeal to white sensibilities. And it happens way beyond hardcore. It's all over America.
You confuse being a fetish or a token for like actual genuine friendship and admiration. So like you're strive for that. Like, yeah, man, like, and that wasn't like coonery, but it's like as a kid you do not know. And I was very young to not know that was like the wrong way to go. So I was like internalizing, yeah, I'm the good one, yeah. And then as I got older, I was like, yo, that's just horrible. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I've had a very
It's crazy.
I've had quite a few weird things said to me. Like, I mean, even being adopted into a white family, like there's people like, man, that's interesting. Like black people have said this to me, like, oh, that's crazy. You embraced your white family. I go, yeah, that's what happened.
yeah.
Oh, wait. What, like, why wouldn't I? Like, that's,
Yeah.
Oh, the people gave me a fucking chance.
Yeah, like the people that raised me.
yeah, like what the fuck do you? You know, because I have a weird situation. Because I was adopted in my teens.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was with my mom and stepfather and all that shit. Blah blah blah. But it's such a weird question to like hear. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I say? They're like, oh yeah, you talk about how you came from a white neighborhood. I go, what? What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the truth.
What would you like me to talk about? You want me to not think that part existed in my world? Like it's just you just hear weird shit from people.
Yeah. Sometimes
like being, along the lines of like, the way we, like cats like us operate, and it's in. Like, and we're just like, we just see ourselves as like, this is just what it is.
Yeah.
It's not for a white thing. It's not for a black. It's just, I've always thought of it like this ever since I was growing up. I thought, like, I didn't get into music the music I got into because of white kids. Like, all this was discovered on my own just through the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just looked at it as like, oh, this is for everybody. Because you think, like, if I'm at the radio listening to this stuff and I can no one's guiding me on changing the radio station. Like, this is all my discovery. So I'm like, oh, this is for everybody.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If it's easy to just change the station on the radio, then all what I'm doing is for everybody. I didn't think of it as like, oh, well, I can't listen to this because I'm black. No, if I got a radio and I can change the station, I can listen to it.
Right.
That's how I thought of it.
I went to the Gap and I got a shirt. It was like
to the Gap.
It was like those stock like like the 2005-06 like Chris Angel type of stuff like like Affliction looking stuff.
Word.
So I got like it said "Sold My Soul to Rock and Roll." I thought it was so sick. It was like a heart and a guitar. They're like, someone said, "You're a disgrace to black people for wearing that."
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't believe oh you mean rock and roll like rock? I was like, yeah. Like, oh, you're like it was crazy. Like it wasn't even a band.
I got that for the Fall Out Boy shirt.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't even a band. It was like a stock Gap design. I was like, bro, come on. Like, it was crazy.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was strange even growing up when they're like, oh, you like that devil music. They got electric guitar. And I was like, yeah.
I'm like, man,
there's a lot of black people that
play
actually
guitar.
started electric guitar with rock and roll. And it's hard for me to understand that these people can't realize that, but it's
I used to walk back and forth to school with my guitar, and it was just like always a problem, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy.
Wow.
And like I'd be like, yo, on my sidekick, like, yo, look at this, a black person playing guitar, and they're like, what the fuck? But there was I was skating home. My friend Jack, been my friend since like kindergarten, but we're in middle school at this point, and like I love Blink-182. It was the second day of 6th grade. I remember this shit so vividly. Like, I was on Stern Street by the Wendy's, and and I was singing Blink-182. Got a lot of heartache. He's a fucking weasel. And this dude skates up to me and goes, "Oh man." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You're one of those black dudes that likes white shit, huh?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "I like music."
Right. Yeah, I know.
And he was like, I was like, I didn't realize that it was supposed to be white shit. And he just like, that shit must have sat. He actually apologized for that shit like 2 years ago. He found me at a bar.
Wow.
This dude, yeah. Like literally,
at him,
literally 19 years later, And I was just like, oh shit, like, it was just really crazy but that was like when I realized like, oh, like people are like, this is gonna be a hell of a road for me for like liking this stuff that I didn't even know was considered other,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that happen in America specifically that are just geared towards race.
Yeah.
Because again, it stems from the very founding of this country, but at the same time, you step outside of this country and you realize like people aren't thinking in that same manner, like I was watching this whole thing about like eating watermelon and how that was like growing up, it was like a weird thing. Like you'd be in the corner like, oh, okay, I'm going to eat this watermelon. I don't want anybody making fun of me and shit. And I don't need to hear any of these jokes. At least I had this feeling at sometimes. But then there are people that are like in Africa, and they come and they're just like, I don't understand what the fuck you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Or anywhere in Brazil or anywhere, and I'm
Yeah.
like eating watermelon, and my friends are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you just eat this watermelon
Yeah.
in front of everybody? I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Like, bro, you don't get
good.
it.
You know,
and they have no idea what
Yeah.
you're
you know where the
talking about. Like, that's
watermelon thing
crazy.
stems from? Not to like. I feel like I'm like Umar on this shit.
That's so crazy.
No, like after slavery, black people were making so much money off of watermelon that they had to stigmatize it. Like it was just straight up jealousy. Like so they like basically defamed watermelon to make it a thing that was like, yo, like real hater ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like level
That's the best way
100
to put it.
hater. Like that's level 100 hater.
A lot of haters, man.
Holy shit!
Yo,
no.
fucking fruit.
Yeah,
A fruit, it grows. Like, it grows in the
Yo,
ground.
shit
Yeah.
grows, yo.
Nah, but black farmers were banking off of it, so they're just
Yeah.
like, nah, we got to stigmatize it to make it like they started associating it with laziness and like, you know, all
Yeah,
these different
that Sambo
things to
stuff.
like, the
Yeah.
Sambo shit, like.
Fuck.
So I want to ask you something because you've had quite a few people come up and apologize to you. Like, you know, with that being said, do you like, what's your reaction to that? Are you like, yeah, you should be sorry, or are you more like, oh, I appreciate that? You know?
It's kind of in between, you know. It's like for their sake, I'm glad they've had some realizations.
For sure.
They didn't really have to come to me about them because, like, fuck them, I was gonna live anyway.
For
you
sure.
know,
True.
like, and I'm like very far past the point with a lot of those things that were said or done to me as a kid where it like affects me like that.
Yeah.
Because it's still very much part of my reality. Like, you know, you build that exoskeleton.
For sure.
So I just, you know, part of it is like, cool, I'm glad we've had that realization. Now the work just started. Like, you got a long road ahead of you, dog.
Uh-huh.
Like, cool. You just keep
Yeah.
trekking on, you know? But it's like, oh, man, after George Floyd, that was like, yo, straight up, like, my girl was like, don't answer your phone. Because it was like 60 calls a day of people like circling back around trying to like apologize for something they'd said or done or like telling me that I was right about something, and I just wasn't even in the mood, you know? Like people I'd lived with, old roommates who did shit, they didn't even know why they did some shit. And I was like, they were really just being a hater.
Yeah.
And that's like, because a lot of it is
Microaggression.
yeah. And a lot of it is like with the way I carry myself and like with how strong I am about my presence and like being like, no, you're not going to belittle me. Like, I'm not going to make myself small for you.
Yeah.
Like, which is, I think like an important thing is like not making myself small is that it offends people, but they don't know why it offends them. Like, and so I think the realizations came a lot in 2020, and it was a lot of like apologies. And now, still people are apologizing to me. And I've had like life, like racism has altered the course of my life. Like I was kicked out of the AP program in high school before I even started, like based off my race. Like literally they tried to get the person fired who kicked me out. Like just my life has been drastically altered by this, but I'm like, you know, there's a path. Whatever, I'll stay steadfast.
Yeah, that's
on
interesting.
It.
You know, you got me realizing some shit too, like with that answer. You know, especially when I think about what I talk about on stage, and all the things that I talk about, and people are like, "Why do you talk about it?" I was like, "That's been my whole life. I mean, that's what has been delivered to me on a regular basis.
Right.
Is what I'm talking about. That's why I'm, you know, saying it. It's not a new thing. You know, like I may just be a new cat to you that you're listening to, but I'm telling you, like this is what it's been like my whole life. And you know, I used to be, you know, if someone apologized to me, I mean, I had mad anger issues, still kind of do.
Pretty good.
But
you just call old boy a bitch like 10 times today. But yeah,
I know. I'm sorry. But you know, like I remember one time at auditioned for this big comedy festival, and this the dude that was like booking it at the time or whatever, you know, came up to me after my like audition, and it's a tough festival to get in, big comedy festival, biggest comedy festival you could ever get in, and you know, he said some like shit to me, compared me, or just like called me, like he just called me another black comedian just because, and meanwhile I'm nothing like that comedian at all, right? Nothing like it. And then when I went and did the festival, like it was in this theater, you know, it's like it's called the New Faces or whatever. And I went and did this festival and was on stage performing and had an amazing set, which I never say shit like that. I like it, like as a comic, you kind of, show a lot of humility. So you're like, that shit was okay. But, that one, I was like, I fucked this shit up. Even Blake Griffin came up to me and was like, hey, dog.
Yeah.
So I was like, shout out Blake Griffin, yeah. But, the dude came up to me after and was like, hey, man, I really want to apologize. He goes, you're not that comic. You're Chappelle Lacey.
Wow.
And I'm sorry I said that.
He's like, damn right, put some respect on my name, nigga.
Put some respect.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
old me, pre-anger management me, would have done that, but I was just like, I shook his hand and was like, man, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, like actually meant a lot.
Because I think it's the feeling of being seen. Because a lot of like what we go through with like prejudice or racism, or microaggressions is like you feel unseen. Yeah. So I think when someone has a realization and then sees you for like the human that you are,
right, like
beyond the skin, then it's like very satisfying or vindicating, however you want to look at it. But so I just definitely, I'm still working on the anger thing, but I don't express it because part of me is, I'm like, yo, it's a privilege for me to be mad at you. Like, you don't even get that from me, you little bitch. Like, like you don't even get to experience my anger, Like, yeah.
I gave everybody my anger. I was like, who won it?
Yeah,
who won it?
Yeah.
What's the I'm bringing back to Zulu too now. What's like the main inspiration for Zulu? Like maybe influences, other bands, or
I'm a broken record because you already know.
Yeah, he's a broken record. Like he's about to go on about.
Because I didn't even know power violence was a genre until I heard you guys. Because I know that's actually a style of music, like super fast beats and all that
A
stuff.
lot of people say we're not even power violence.
Yeah, a lot of people say we're not.
Oh, we're not even the power violence, man. Whatever. Like I would say like grind violence. It's like power violence and grind influence hardcore. A lot of people are always on saying dumb stuff, but for me, what definitely influenced was like Wolverine blues era Entombed.
Oh, Entombed.
Yes.
Like
da demon. Like that stuff is crazy.
That's so sick.
Wolverine blues.
That's a great album.
Great
recording.
It's their best record.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, that and like Insect Warfare was crazy, and stuff like that. Death metal and Pete.
Is Siege like the first band from 1984 or something?
Yeah, like Siege.
Set it off. Come
Remember
on, son. Come on, get my deep dive, son.
Deep dive.
And for me, like Extreme Noise Terror.
Okay.
He's off again. All right, come back.
Extreme Noise Terror was that band.
Chappelle loves you guys so much more today.
Yes, like Extreme Noise Terror and Terrorizer and all that stuff. Like and Cryptic Slaughter too, which is like,
wow.
Yes, Cryptic Slaughter, and that's not even like grind or PV, but it's just fast.
Okay,
it's so fast. So that's what I would say for sure.
Yeah, just fast. I mean, as far as my contribution goes, my influences are all over the place. One of my favorite, when I didn't touch on this with the Tooth and Nail shit, Acidy's Burn is one of my favorite bands too. Yeah, like that actually has influenced my whole guitar style. It's Cody Bonnet, whatever his name is. Also, I have Acidy's Burn tattoo.
Oh, wow, nice.
Really?
But like I give it up to them because they opened up the gates, and I will never stop saying this shit. It's Trash Talk. Open shit up.
For sure.
And that was, and they had that power violence in them and like that just hard shit like that.
Yeah.
That it really spans a lot, like their sound, and like they just have the straight up punk songs. I actually was a Trash Talk hater at first because I was like,
yeah,
you're not allowed to be this good. Like really, like for real. When I was young, I was like, but like.
But they were opening up for Odd Future.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but
Tyler Dining at their shows and shit.
Yeah,
Awesome,
this is like,
dude.
but they were only in that position because they were already the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Like that, their writing was incredible, and and like so Trash Talk, like Sex Prisoner, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's like kind of what we, I
Definitely
think, felt.
Prisoner.
Yeah, Weekend Nachos. Freaking
ACX freaking DC.
ACX DC.
Oh
wow.
My god.
Just like for me though, I tend, depending on what music I'm making at the time, because I do a lot of different things, I'll drop out from that genre. I won't listen to anything from it because I don't want to accidentally steal.
Wow.
Because stuff will like feel good for you.
Subconsciously, you're just make stuff. And it's like, oh, it's in my head already. Yeah.
Especially when it makes you like feel so good.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I fuck with this shit, and then all of a sudden you go and write it.
Yeah.
When you dived into Madball like not a year ago maybe.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Mad Peace would have these crazy bouncy mosh
I was
parts.
like, wait.
I was like, yo, that's a Madball riff. Like, you don't
Yeah.
even think about it. Yeah.
I did shit like that on my demo before, where it was like Orange 9. I just
Oh,
sounded,
yeah.
I was just like Chaka. I had that flow, and I was like, yeah, Orange 9.
Yeah. Oh man, I really loved. Oh man, I'm forgetting the band right now.
Is it Power Violence?
Suicide File.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Suicide File, like influences kind of like definitely influences some stuff in me. You know, American Nightmare,
Woo.
As Cities Burn. I'm all over the place, and I'm
Yeah.
weird because
For
I'm
sure,
very
for
much.
sure.
I spent so much time trying to be counterculture, which is like one of those things. Was like I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I bought a Zune instead of an iPod. What was I thinking? Like I was.
Yeah.
But so I was very about a lot of stuff, but I think that actually helped me kind of write more original stuff. And like I by no means write all of the Zulu stuff. Like we all like contributed riffs, like every single one of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely like our influences are kind of all over, and what we try to bring to it. Like at the end of the day, Anaya polished everything that we brought to the table.
Okay. Is he bringing the hip hop influence as far as like
that's all of us. Yeah, that's all of us. That's just, you know, part of the thing is like we don't. The message, the crass way, Anaya wouldn't say it this way because he doesn't even curse. Like the crass way of delivering the message is like fuck your box. Like we're not in whatever box you think that we're in.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Powerful.
The next record may be an indie record. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like it's just whatever we feel is what we're gonna write.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna try to make it cohesive as possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely a way to stay in the game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to have that evolution and not be afraid to change. You know, and a lot of bands have this, you know, problem that they trying to appease a lot of people out there, and they
Make
need
the same
to
record
really-
over and over again.
Yeah, you know, they
Yeah.
get comfortable, and I think it's important not to get comfortable. You know,
I
to
think
really
like-
shake
like,
it up.
Early Yes and like Yes
Did
and
you
like
bring up Yes?
I
Yes, he
love
did.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
I mean, obviously, like it's very all over the place, like prog, but it's like
Yeah.
every song, like Fragile. There's like classical renditions, and they're just like bow now. There's like heavy stuff. It's like all over the place in a way that's like cohesive. Like Zeppelin, like Queen. Like there's stuff like Queen could do it. Like when they were in their head, they could do anything.
Same with the Clash.
Clash
Yeah,
too.
Clash as well.
yeah.
Hell
Like
yeah.
any genre, Queen could do any genre, and it would fit.
Yeah.
But like I think with the LP we established early on that we can just like bounce around, you know, different things.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's important. And part of it is to like, it's not even all for us or for like accolades. It's to like let other kids know. Cause like when we talk about what we dealt with like being tokenized or any of these problems we've dealt with, it's still happening. And it's to like, if a kid can get shaken out of some conditioning at 14 as opposed to 19, 20, 21, 22 and avoid a lot of pain, then like, awesome. Like that's kind of part of the goal.
Awesome.
And like, you know, we're no one's saviors or anything of that nature, but it's just like passing the energy on, you know. And like at this point I feel like as far as hardcore goes, I'm washed, bro. I'm 33 years old, you know what I'm saying? like and so we had like this issue in Texas, and there was like an older person who got into it with one of the members of the band. But I like pulled the dude aside, you know, and he was very much like standing his ground on the issue. And I was like, hey, bro, like the things you fought for, the things I fought for are not even for us. Like that is selfish. Like it's for the next generation. So I was like, it's not even our world anymore, dog. Like I don't set the tempo. That is for them to do. And I just try to amplify the message or whatever, you know, but it's like, it's very much like not so much of a selfish thing. I feel like it is for other people that look like us to like break out of whatever box that they're in, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just really the simplicity of it. Like, I mean, it's complicated, but it's simple at the end of the day. It's like, forget the box. Like we're trying to represent and to show that you don't have to just be one thing.
I
You
love
don't
that,
have
man.
to assimilate, you know? Like, you have a fucking Rakim tattoo,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm sure people have, like, questioned you about it in maybe not a positive way,
Totally.
you know? Which is unfair.
Yeah.
And I have a fucking Fall Out Boy tattoo.
Yeah.
And a Descendants and Acid Cities. I got to stop getting music
I have a
tattoos.
Coldplay tattoo and
Yeah.
Madonna tattoo.
There you go.
too.
And like, and like Coldplay is incredible. Coldplay.
They got songs. They got
I
tracks.
forgot
They
to
got
mention the Coldplay is the reason I started playing guitar.
Oh my
actually.
God! Now I love me more, man.
Yellow. And I will show you something after this. I'll show you something after this.
Okay.
But Yellow, I did a talent show where I air played guitar and I faked it and I did Creed with Arms Wide Open with my buddy Gary. Gary Boyd,
I
shout
love
out to
Zulu,
you.
bro.
I did, and then after the talent show, I got to spend the night at my friend Gary Boyd's house, and I've been an insomniac since I was like 6 years old. Like legit, I go to sleep at. I don't. I've been an insomniac since I was very young, and I'm watching MTV, and it's like 4:00 in the morning, and I'm 11 years old, and then I see this motherfucker Chris Martin walking down the beach, and I'm like. Ooh, shit. Ooh, you got some things to say. Look at the
Amazing.
stars. Ooh. And I was like, I got to actually, like that outside of like the School of Rock thing, that's what made me play
Wow.
guitar, really. I was like, that was the night where I was like, I got to figure it out. Like,
That's
absolutely.
amazing.
But I don't know where I deviated from. Yeah,
No,
you
but
don't
like,
need the box. You don't need
yeah.
the box. You don't need it. It's like, and the box is unfair. You know, like, and racism is very real, and misogyny is very real, and all these things are very real. But I think there can be advantages made if you choose to live outside of that box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna let my skin determine. Like, you don't get to have a stereotype of me and make me live in it. Like,
Right.
Fucking
screw
love that, dude.
you.
Yeah.
Screw you. And that's actually caused me more problems, I think, than it has good things.
Yeah.
But I think it's like maybe why, you know, companies I've worked for like are so reluctant to promote me in these different things, you know, because they don't even know why.
Mm.
But it's just like they expect me to be a certain way, and I'm not that way. This is like, you know, like my goal is to excel in everything, whether it's music or passing on a message or learning from people or being wrong. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
the best motherfucker at being wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and we like we're gonna try to just do things to like a elevated level when it comes to delivering like our message, which is like screw the box.
I love it. And I, as a crazy hip hop head, all of us growing up in New York in the 90s, I love like the Five Dog shout out in the Where I'm From video, the
Yeah.
Scenario remix vibe, the Faking the Funk main source vibe, whether that's from that or not. Just I love the ode to the hip hop
That and
too as
Diggable
well.
Planets. Yeah,
Diggable Planets too, yeah.
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 So the
We
I'll
can
let you
say-
Go
go
ahead,
but
go ahead.
I just got hit with something.
okay.
Yo, this is how wild this is. So we were going off about the Fall Out Boys, the Fueled by Ramen.
Oh yeah, Eric
Yeah.
Andre. Wait, Eric Andre in the video too. That was dope.
Yeah, that was
Eric
sick.
Andre.
And meanwhile,
Let's go, bro.
I'm telling you, this motherfucker with Bobby Brown, Key Sweat, SWV. I'm telling you, he goes deep. Like I'll be.
Oh,
in the
you
car.
one of those?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'll be in the car playing this shit, and I'll be like, "Yo, how you know this?" And like it's like shit that I would hear as a kid, you know, from my mom just playing it. So it's like wild to like hear us like talk about these bands, you know, Van Halen's, Your Poisons, all this stuff.
I'm
And
more hip hop and
meanwhile-
R&B
And
growing
meanwhile,
up. Yeah.
like his R&B knowledge, I'm like,
So sick.
like he has a tape of Monica's
Just one of those days.
Just one of those days.
And
That's
He has
crazy.
He
Yeah.
has, the he has a cassette tape.
That's me and my
in
wife's
his
song,
hip.
man.
That's
Yeah.
him and his wife's song.
See, that's you outside the box.
Yeah,
like
like,
and
See
I
how
like
wild
that.
is? And this
yeah.
guy was around like New York hardcore when like
Yeah.
New
But hip-
York hardcore.
But hip hop
Yeah.
too. But I got to be in the Onyx Slam video, House of Pain video.
Yeah.
I know these things
Right.
already.
Okay.
So I actually
At
know
the same
about
time.
you through Gym Class Heroes, but that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
Okay. But like I've always tried to tell because people be like, yo, like, because this whole time I've been playing heavy music, I've been rapping at the same time.
I know, that's
and
awesome.
people been telling me like, you can't do that. And I'm like, you idiot. Like I'm like, yo, like you can do your research about like how these punks and hardcore kids were like with like Run DMC was with the hardcore kids. And it's like
Yeah.
they don't advertise that. A part of me, my weirdo brain thinks that's on purpose. But like you don't really get to see that.
Public
And
Enemy too, man.
Yeah, like
Punk
and
rock is
all these,
fucked, dude.
all this shit was interwoven, and I think people just like missed that. And I think if people really saw that, then they would put less boxes on themselves and other people.
I always think
You know?
the Nas shirt, Nas when he has the Biohazard tee.
Mm-hmm.
That's like like that time. I mean, obviously you lived it, but like
I was there. Yeah.
I always see that time like
so
hip hop
sick.
and hardcore and punk and like counterculture and skating and graph was like all one bubble.
Especially in New York, it was so meshed
Yeah.
together.
So
My
so
wife worked at the
awesome.
Palladium. I got to see Wu-Tang perform "Protect Your Neck" for the first time. I got to go to all these shows, Mary J. Blige and Hot 97 stuff, because my wife and all of her friends work in these different clubs. We go to CBGB Sunday matinee,
Oh
and then
my
we go to the
God.
Limelight that night and
Ew.
see some. Or we go to the Palladium and see like Tribe, De La, Main Source. I'm very lucky to be in New York at that time. Third Base, it's all these different artists, and he worked
Right.
at Fat Farm, and I worked at Nana across the street from each other in the early '90s.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy time, man.
I mean,
It's-
you could do. I mean, if you were into it, you were into it.
Right.
Yeah.
People wouldn't give
And
you
that-
any shit about.
Because at the end of the day, you're all misfits.
Yeah.
Every single one of
100%.
you.
Yeah, no,
And
yeah.
that's
100%.
like the point to me is that like normal is not.
Yeah.
It just is not. Like
But I loved how like Public
yeah, New
Enemy
York
it was
was-
so punk rock back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The picture of them wearing
I mean,
Minor
they
Threat
would never
shirts
play it on
and
the
shit.
radio. I remember it
I
was just
know.
like they were afraid
Yeah.
to play
Yeah.
it on the radio, and I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, he was a hero in the hardcore scene, Chuck D.
Yes.
Because it was so rebellious, and it was
So
the same time
rebellious.
as so many good hardcore and alternative bands. Like what they were preaching was
Freaking Scott Ian,
powerful.
like they were like,
yeah,
oh,
dude.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
he was on here. And he had
yeah,
a
that stuff's
lot.
like Scott Ian and them were like, that stuff's nuts to me.
It's
I
nuts.
know.
When he told
Yeah.
that story here, it was like goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know, when he was like, yo, when Chuck D came on stage and all like the connecting,
yeah,
especially at that time, because they
yeah.
were, I mean,
But then the Judgment Night soundtrack too, with all
Yeah.
that.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Dude, it's fucking
God,
Yeah.
yes.
crazy, dude.
And like
that's the holy grail.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
me, all that stuff is crazier then because like race, for a better word, race relations was more volatile then.
oh yeah.
So like for like all that stuff to be connecting and these people be banding together, I think is incredible. There'd be no hip hop on TV without Blondie. She
Right.
got,
Yeah.
Right.
She got,
She's the
she
first
got-
white
yeah,
rapper.
She's
Yeah.
the first white rapper, but she
Crazy,
got
yeah.
she got Fat Boys. They were the first
Yeah.
black rap artists on television.
Yeah.
That was because of her. She's pulling strings. You know,
Yeah.
it's like these things. You know, I think
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's
people
nuts.
like need to like just do some research on the connections of things.
Absolutely.
Even Third Base putting KMD on, and that became MF Doom.
You know? Yeah.
All that
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
dude. It's
yeah,
Like-
crazy.
This, you know, and I think punk and hip hop and hardcore and all these things have always been like closely tied because there's a state of mind with it.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think that state of mind, I think people don't recognize that it's in other people probably based off something stupid like
Yeah.
a hairstyle or skin color or the way they're dressed
Mm.
because they're not in the proper uniform. And I'm like, bro, you just gotta like look past that. Like,
Yeah. KRS-One, dude. I mean, I was already turning vegetarian in 1988 because I lived with Gorilla Biscuits, and but then KRS-One, who I love, had my philosophy: I'm vegetarian, no goat, no ham, no chicken, no turkey, no hamburger, because to me that's suicide, self-murder. And that was like a hip hop artist who I
That's
loved,
so crazy.
and he's singing about being a vegetarian, bro. It's fucking crazy, man. And then we saw him perform a couple weeks ago. He's 57 and came out at the observatory and fucking killed it, dude. Freestyling with Coogee Rap. It was amazing, man.
Wow.
But that's the shit we grew up on in New York. Like, it's just the timing, man.
I was a very Big L fan. from,
Big
like,
L,
Big
yeah,
L.
Oh,
man.
he's
So
crazy.
that also like that's the stuff that steered like my rap, or is like I got the Big Picture and College Dropout in the same week. So like Big L like made me go crazy on the rapping, and then that's when I started making beats. Was when I got College Dropout. I'm like, yo, this dude's making the beats
production
and
is
rapping.
nuts.
I'm like,
Sick, dude.
I'm like, yo, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, and so that just like pushed me. I don't know, all these things. Like, I just like I loved every type of genre of music, and I think like without all I say this about the band all the time. It's a chemistry set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you change one ingredient. That's why I'm very big on like loving each other, respecting each other, and having grace with each other, and putting everything in context. Because like you could say something to me, and I could be offended because I don't know the context of it.
Mm.
But if I knew the context, then maybe I would
You
think a
easily-
little bit different about it
Yeah.
and give you some grace. But it's like the chemistry set. I think without all these different influences, without these certain people around me, none of the like without the same ingredients, it comes out completely different. Like I'm in a completely different world. So I'm just like really grateful for all of that
Yeah.
and thankful. But like, yeah, all these little influences that we've all had that contribute like to this band or anything that we do. I think it's super important that all these little nuances have happened, you know?
I fucking love it, man. It's awesome to have you on the podcast and also be in the hardcore scene, the community. And as like an older guy who's kind of not really in the scene. I'm still in the band, but I got the pod. But just seeing you guys come and just do what you're doing and your influences and just everything, even from your artwork and your T-shirts, is everything. Like, it just brings me back to like Native Tongues vibe. I don't know, like so many different hip hop aspects. I love it, man.
Oh yeah.
Thank
you
you.
asked about the Where I'm From video.
Yeah.
That was another thing of me not being selfish. That was gonna be
Dez is goated for that.
That was gonna be a me video. I was going to. I have a hard time getting people to do stuff that they want to be paid for, aka like making music videos. And so I was like, yo, I could just green screen a video, and I could plug myself into the scenario video, and I was like, that'd be really, really funny. And I started doing it. I like started filming it and everything, and then the record, like I put a hold on all my solo stuff to like I made complete space for Zulu. And, like, we're starting to do the rollout, and we're, like, figuring out videos. And I was like, man, do I need to sacrifice this video idea for myself? And I was like, I called Anaya. I was like, yo, I got an idea. I'm already, like, halfway through this thing for myself. But what do you think about this? And he goes, that would be so crazy. How would you even do that? That's not even possible. I'm like, I already got it, bro. Like, it's all good. I'm like, we just need to film for a few days. So, we did the Dark Side of the Moon tour. Filmed a bunch of stuff, and then took different clips of different times, and just had friends
Came out so
join
good,
it.
So
yeah,
thank you.
and then like on the off tour, I was just editing the video the whole time.
How did Eric Andre get in there?
So someone put him onto our music, and we have like mutual friends.
The page. It was
Yeah,
so
but
crazy.
he DM'd the page and was like,
"Can I join your band?"
"Yeah, can I join your band?"
Yeah.
And we were like Anaya was like, "Yeah." Like, haha, it'd be funny or whatever. He's like, no, seriously, like, I want to get on stage. I want to
chug chug a ball of Jack or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
chug something on stage, and I want to pour a beer all over myself. It was like really funny interactions. And then he tagged us. He posted us on a story like a few times.
Wow.
And I was just like, damn, like that's a lot of love, And then Anaya was like, I'm just gonna, because he couldn't make it to the show. Something came up. Because he was dealing with some racism with, I think, the Atlanta Police Department.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was dealing with some stuff. And Anaya's just like, yo, are you in town? He's like, yeah. He's like, you want to be in a video? He's like, yeah, pull up to the crib. Like, it was like really that simple. It was really that simple. But then we got to the crib. We did not realize it was freaking Friendsgiving. He was having his Friendsgiving. It was very, like, number one, beautiful home. He had speakers everywhere just jamming this like extremely loud reggae, like really loud and like really loud dance hall. And I walk up, he has a big drumstick of chicken in his hand. He's just like, oh shit, you caught me red-handed. And I'm like, yo, this is like, it just, from that moment I was like, this is gonna be a funny experience. But yeah, we just like, I brought like all my camera, all my lights and everything, and we just set up on his patio. Like, he literally left his party for 20 minutes, and we just filmed this stuff. Like, he did a few of the lines over and over again.
So cool, man.
And that is a guy. I tell you what, that is a guy. No, he's really that dude. Like,
I heard great things, man.
Yeah, he's really that dude. And it's funny because he left this party, and his friends were like wanted him back so bad. They're just like, yo, like, come back to the party. And he's like, I'll be there. Like,
that's super cool.
Hold on, yeah, it was like really cool for him to put like all these people on pause, like people I've been watching on TV for some years and whatnot. Like, he really put them on pause to like be in our silly little
it's amazing, man.
Tribe remake video, and that was like really a big look,
That's awesome.
I gotta take her back to my house. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have a question to you, Braxton. How'd you end up never trying anything?
I don't know. I
You
just
mean drugs?
Yes.
Yeah, it never really appealed to me. I don't know. I remember like there was that Dare campaign.
Yes.
It was like a big thing. Now I just think it's all a bunch of propaganda, but like at the time, it was cool.
Worked on you.
Yeah, like like that lion looks so cool.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
the lion on the but after when I had turned my back on that very young, because I was like, oh, I'm punk, I'm metal, I'm contrarian, cool guy. So I definitely turned my back on that very early on. But I turned my back on the organized aspect of being drug free. I like being organized, strict, rigid about it. I thought that was corny. I was like, I'm
militant.
Gonna do. I was like, I'm gonna do it for me.
Personal choice.
Yeah, and then I was like, I obviously like admire Threat and like all that, like Music Today and everything, but I just did it. Like I it wasn't even hardcore adjacent when I was doing it.
Yeah.
It was just I was like a thrasher kid, that I just like it didn't really like it was cool to me, like was it Decline of Western Civilization 2, dude from Wasp in the thing.
Pool.
Yeah, like that was cool. I was like, oh yeah, he's lit. Even he was just
man,
like
so
it was
sad.
dark,
Yeah.
but I was like, yo, this is like he's lit, but still like I was like, yeah, all that stuff is cool, but I just don't want to I just don't want to do it. You know? That was definitely how I was. Still, I've never tried anything ever, never drank nothing.
Man, yeah.
And I live in like Lake Elsinore, California, where it's like I see the trenches,
Yeah.
I still just don't.
Definitely methamphetamines everywhere there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty bad, but I don't.
Did you grow up in a household where there was no alcohol, no drugs?
No, my dad drank,
Okay.
definitely. He wasn't like out of control,
I
but
just
he
had a
drank.
drink with his dad last week.
I was thinking, I was like, wait, did you? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
In
Nice.
Florida, yeah, I
Wow.
forgot, yeah. That's crazy, yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, like my dad, he'd be doing this thing, but definitely nothing like traumatizing or
Right.
crazy. But I just never appealed to me.
Same, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
At a really young age too.
I really respect y'all for that.
Thank you, man.
Sometimes though, I'd
Thank
be
you.
like, I'd be down bad. Sometimes I'm like, yo, like how can I numb like the pain?
Right, of course.
But
yeah.
yeah, it never appealed to me. Yeah.
I don't think it really fits your personality. I don't know you that well, but I mean,
Thank you.
I just can't.
Nah, I wouldn't.
Right.
Like, the thing is, he's the biggest partier of them all. Like,
Right.
He can really like road dog with me for days at a time. It's kind of
Yeah.
sick. Like, and
this
he'll just
past
be,
tour, and the Show Me the Body guys are nuts.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was me, Dez, and them. Some of GSP's guys would be up until like 4, 5, 6. Check out is 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
Wow.
and we're just chopping it up, chilling, like
Yeah.
throwing dice, and Braxton's just right there with us. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm just like,
You can hang.
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Yo, you're straight edge." She's like, "Yeah." They're like, "Nice." You know,
Yeah.
like
It's sick. It's for sure sick.
Yeah, I can't imagine Toby ever doing drugs.
Nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Even, man.
I mean,
I'm
the
high on
personality
life, man.
doesn't fit your personality
Yeah.
at all. in
that's
any-
cool. See,
That's
you're
sick.
aging gracefully. Well, you're
Thank
like
you.
40 years old. You look great.
Thank you.
Like, you know,
I feel good. I feel young, man.
yeah.
Definitely worked for me,
Definitely.
you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
I think, I mean, I got exposed to alcohol by my older brother, who exposed me to a lot of things. He gave me beer when I was like 3.
Oh,
So
shit.
maybe I never stood
That
a
is
chance.
crazy.
That's crazy.
But he gave me beer and had me break a kid's nose. I was like, no, I was 4. But yeah, he was like,
Wow.
tell him this is your preschool. It was like after school at Jim Gilliam. Yeah, I broke
Holy
this kid's nose.
shit.
Yeah.
You be having stories, bro.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. But there was no stuff in my house. Like my mom didn't drink or anything. It just like I was with punk rockers.
Yeah.
So they were
Right.
just like giving me beer and shit when I was a kid.
What was that beer? It had like a hornet on it.
Oh, I forget.
With a hornet on it?
Yeah, it was like a green hornet or something like that. I don't know.
Was it
Oh,
liquor?
Mickey's.
Mickey's?
Yeah,
Mm.
My dad was huge on Mickey's, and I remember always seeing it. I never knew what it was. It stunk to me. Like, that smells
Yeah.
like WD-40 or something. This is gross. Like, what are you
It
doing?
smells terrible.
Yeah, but
Right.
my dad would be bodying it. Like, he loved it, and that was like his thing. And yeah, it never like appealed to me because it looked like it was nasty. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looked gross and it smelled gross.
I don't even. I mean, my parents never drank or swore or anything like that. But
Never swore either, yeah.
And even in
My
church,
mom, yeah, she never cussed. She was a church lady,
right?
never
Yeah,
cursed
and
ever.
my parents too.
Crazy.
And even at the church, they would have like grape juice.
Communion, yeah.
Yeah, communion. It would be like grape juice, not like wine.
Yeah.
And the first time witnessing people drinking or having drinks at home was when we moved to a neighborhood where there were white people.
Mm-hmm.
And I had friends and go to their
Wow.
house. I was like, damn, your dad is sauced. Like
Yeah,
coming from work and he'd be like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm going to have a drink, a cocktail at the end of the day. And it was just like a completely different world to me. I was like,
Yeah.
yo.
That's what it was. Like my little white ghetto homies down the street. Like, bro,
Right.
do
Right back.
would come home and be like, go grab me another soldier to my little homie. And he would just like bring his uncle beers all night. And I'm like, yo, like, I'd never seen anyone drink like that. It blew my mind.
It blew my mind, the fact that I even remember it's like, yo, give me a pack of cigarettes from the bar, you know? Like, I was just like, yeah. And it'd be like my friend running to the bar, the local bar, and be like, yo, a pack of Camels, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I used to buy, I don't know how, was that even legal then? I used to buy Newports for my aunt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but she would like, they knew.
Yeah.
Like, they knew my aunt, you know? And they're just like, she's like, yo, go give me some Newport 100s. Or like, go give me some Black and Milds.
That was like a common thing.
Like, and they would just let me take it, and I'd be like, that's kind of how I got my aunt and uncle. Like, they would leave, and like have like our older siblings watch us, and we would just get into their shit. So it was like I would smoke my uncle's Black and Milds. Like, where my Black at? And I'm like, you know, I'll smoke my uncle's Black and Milds, and like we would like open the beer and take like little sips of it, you know, from the 40, or like just, you know, hit a little bit of the vodka, put some water in it. Like we did. You know, that's kind of how we got into shit.
Oh,
like,
God. It always scared me.
Yeah.
It was always, even like before like the DARE campaign and everything, like it always just scared me.
It would scare me too. And then I mean, for me growing up, there was like a whole incident that happened with Lim Bias where it was a basketball player and he just got drafted. He was a #1 draft.
The crack.
And he did crack or cocaine.
First
time ever in his life. And he died.
Yeah.
And it was and I was like terrified. I was like, yo.
Yeah,
that's I was like, I could see that shit happen to me, you know.
Well, they said he wouldn't stop.
Right.
He just kept going. He did. I think it was crack and coke he did that night. And they said he just like, they're like, hey man, slow down, and he just wouldn't stop doing it because he was like enjoying it. And he passed. That shit actually scares me too.
Yeah.
I literally thought about that last night.
Really?
Yeah. I was thinking about that because I watched a documentary on crack recently.
Right.
The crack epidemic.
And what's his? Yeah.
I just finished Snowfall, which is like
incredible.
That's
man.
our show, man.
Our friends on there, Tiffany Lonsdale. Yeah, our friend.
She was on the pod, and
she's amazing, man.
That ending bummed me
it
out.
Bummed
but
me
it is
really
actually realistic.
Heavy.
I'm not gonna say it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but like,
incredible.
Yeah,
show.
I know so many people from that because like, like that. Not to get into too many details, like that was like not from my mom. My mom's straight laced, but like aunts, uncles, and shit, like that was the livelihood. You know what I'm saying? And there was lots of money made, and like ultimately that has been like, it's not that bad, but that's been the result. Like all these years later, there's not much to show for it. I kind of feel like it's cursed money sometimes, you know?
Right.
Like or the repercussions and everything you have to do to get to where you're trying to get, which ultimately I feel like that show is showing us, you know? It's very, very dark, but
it was such a great show though.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I loved every moment of it, and it's also like we were like in South Central Watts, like Compton during those times. Like I seen some of that shit firsthand, so it like really, really struck close to home. Like really, really, really. And you know, I got family out there right now that still the Rock's got a hold of them. You know, so it's like just seeing all the different perspectives that are taken in that show is really, really something.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely bummed me out. I was like, oh man, I love the characters, the acting, and it was phenomenal, man.
I was interested in the video for On the Corner of Sumerian and 24th. That's only 3 miles from here. It's pretty crazy.
Oh,
Yeah. Is that where you guys lived? Is that where someone lived over there?
Anaya did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he had an experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
That video definitely. There's people I've talked to. They're like, yeah, man. I remember I thought you guys were the craziest band ever. Seen that video.
It's a crazy video.
It really is crazy. Yeah.
That was fun.
I think all the videos have their own. They're all different. I love all different themes to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that
so
one.
much.
That was just Anaya and I going back and forth in text, and then we're like, let's see if we can execute this crazy thing. That's when Zayn was still in the band.
That was the most like on the nose I think we've ever been. I
Yeah.
think just straight to the point.
Yeah, like
I love you have like 4 videos from the new album too, almost, right? 4.
yeah, I think so.
Videos
like
still
Faking the Funk.
Yep.
Faking the Funk's cool. Is like there's wanted more to it, but you know it's like time crunch and like resource limited. But that was shot in my shop with just a black sheet. Like,
Damn.
Yeah.
I think From the Gods to Earth.
That was a crazy one.
Yeah.
That was someone Malachi, not from Scout, different Malachi. They
That was nuts.
They did an incredible. I'm not even in that video. I'm actually in like not a lot of the videos. 'Cause I'm behind the camera for a good amount of them. But yeah, that one is just different. That's just elevated.
And then we're more than this. The other one too. We're more than this.
We're more than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was inspired by. All right. There's this old Roots video that I downloaded on LimeWire when I was.
Wow, LimeWire. Shout out
When
to
I was
LimeWire.
young. It's Questlove beatboxing. A dude doing graffiti in the alley behind him.
Yeah.
And Black Thought just freestyling. And then Questlove starts giving him words.
That's awesome.
And I was very tried to get very, very versed in the art of freestyle. Like I can respond to words, but that was like the inspiration behind it.
You think Black Thought is underrated?
I think people are giving him his flowers now.
More now, yeah.
Yeah,
but
definitely. Like he
incredible,
might
man.
be the best MC on earth, and I think I think it's hard for people to realize that. And also just I think because it's like with the band, it's not so isolated.
True.
So I think it takes away from just the recognition.
It's
But
freestyle, just everything's incredible, man.
bro, he just it's very untouchable. Like he has a flawless flow,
Yeah.
flawless delivery, and he can go very lyrical miracle, but still in like a commercial way. You know? And I think that's like the hard balance with like a lot of great rappers can't write a song.
Too wordy.
Yeah, too wordy. So
Do you have a
yeah.
top 5?
I really don't. I mean, I think if I had to like give it to you, like
It's kind of hard though.
I love Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
That last record's like
Him
poetry.
growing- it's like him
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up.
I can't even stop. I couldn't
Yeah.
listen to it every day when it came out. I went and saw him perform live. It was an incredible
that
show.
was one of the best shows
Like
I've
he's
ever
just
seen.
a poet.
Hip-hop show.
He's
Yeah.
so amazing, man.
I mean,
That's it's like a masterpiece. It's like an art piece. that
yeah.
record.
No, it's and I think they'll grasp it much later.
It
Like,
went over a
down
lot
the
of
line.
people's heads.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was because Dan was before that and had all the hits on the radio.
Dan was
but
very easily digestible.
But this is like about child molestation. Just
It
everything
was
that
a
he's
lot,
talking about.
yeah.
Is
I
deep,
think
bro.
that I saw a lot of people get mad about it, and it was one of those things where I'm like, you don't understand the context, and it's not for you.
Yeah.
Like that album to me was like it was the emancipation of a hood nigga, bro. And like that's how I feel of like that's breaking out of the boxes. It's like,
Yes.
oh shit,
yeah.
I didn't even realize I was being homophobic. I thought I was just
Right.
having fun. I didn't realize like
saying that word everything.
yeah, like all the effects of abuse, the
Mm-hmm.
generational trauma that it causes, like all these things, being
Not showing emotion or
not showing
Yeah.
emotion, being abusive to partners, how even the patriarchy affects black men, like all these things. I think it was addressing, and people like they were so focused on words,
Yeah.
and
or
not,
beats
or
Yeah.
beats, and not
Right.
putting things in context, like I saw a lot of outrage, over some of the things he said on the album, and I just don't think people put it in context. I'm like, did you listen?
When I first heard it, I knew there was gonna be a backlash, but I definitely I was like, people don't understand.
It was
The-
deep, man.
It's a very niche, unique place he's coming from, and some people that's not necessarily niche, but to the general populace, it's niche.
Yeah.
But to like SoCal and like LA, like people know like what especially black people know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a generation like us, where like we like punk and metal and everything, but our elders are on a very different path, and we try to tell them like, hey uncle, maybe you probably shouldn't call old boy that at the gas station, like
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like some people don't understand what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe you have a better chance of there if you don't say, "Hey, bitch." You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like it's just like these type of things.
like
you know?
catcalling, and then she walks away. Oh, you a hoe anyway. You was ugly anyway. You fat anyway. It's
Yeah.
like, bruh, like stuff like that.
Did you see that tour at all? Were you guys around for that?
No, Kendrick's another one of those ones
Oh,
where
he has
like
a crazy story about this.
it's
Yeah.
like it's been weird every single time.
You
Like,
never get to see him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the room and still couldn't. When he played Observatory after The Pimp a Butterfly came out, they oversold that shit by hundreds of tickets.
I'm sure.
It was not even possible to see the stage.
Damn.
Like I watched him on a TV in the same room and just
Right.
like tried to listen.
Wow.
But I've been, they did like Rock the Bells, and I was
Yep.
like guest listed for, And it was like, I got there and they're like, you're not on the guest list. And I was like, I'm 100% on the guest list. And they're like, you're not on the guest list. And I waited for like 2 hours. And I was like, man, I got to see Black Hippie. I got to see Kendrick. And then finally it was like, oh, sorry, there was a mistake. Like, you're on the list. And I like run to the stage. And it's like, we're Black Hippie. Thank you. And I was just like, ah! And that's happened to me with Kendrick like 4 or 5 times. We're like, literally like, it's been a guest list thing. So on the Yeezus tour, Staples Center, I go. They're like, oh, this is the wrong guest list. You got to go to that one. And it was like half a mile.
10 blocks away.
So I walk over there, and I'm like, it's Marlon Wayans, and like, I think it was Tyler, the Creator. And like, I'm like, nigga, I do not belong in this line. This is like famous people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, is there a chance? They're like, you're not on this guest list. I'm like, exactly. So I go back, and they're like, oh, shit, sorry, we missed that, bro. So like, they let me in. They're like, oh, you have to be escorted. Because I was in this like weird VIP thing. I'm not trying to flex. I'm really not. But like, so I'm like, I go, and it was really like, yo, thank you. I'm Kendrick Lamar. Like, he walked off the stage, and I was just like, this is a sick joke, and this has been happening for years. And I'm like, I just need to buy a proper ticket. But now it's like we've been on tour. He was supposed to play something that we were playing, and like, I don't know what happened. So
damn.
Yeah,
but he's in your top 5 though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, him and Absol, honestly, and then Big L, one of my like favorite rap influences. Honestly, Travis McCoy, even though he's not like a rapper's rapper,
he'll be stoked on that.
Travi like really influenced a lot of like how I approach rapping. Also,
cool, man.
Like from a really like, and I've been gym class since like Crabapple Kids, like beyond what anyone would even know, you know, and yeah, I don't really like, I try not to have a top 5 anything. Like, I have my favorites of stuff or like stuff I go back to, but I really just try to keep an open mind. I will really sit with something. Nas is definitely up there for me.
Hell yeah.
And Jay-Z. I battled in my mind for like so long on who the GOAT was between the two.
But Nas is the GOAT.
I'm going to give it to Hov, bro.
No way.
Because you got to go like, you can't just talk rapping. You got to talk culture. All right, like the whole shit. Like a few years ago, when it was cool to wear the bomber jacket with the Timbs and the beanie and shit, you could go back to a Hov. You could go back to a Hov video from 25 years ago. He was already rocking what's modern, you know. Yeah. So it's like there's like cultural things that I give it to Hov for. But also, I'm a very huge Nas fan because I do like the poetic things.
Yeah, incredible, man. What about you, Braxton?
I'm more like newer school. Like, I think Young Thug is just like the pinnacle of like I'll be listening to like a Playboy Cardi song, and Dez be like, bro, turn this off. I'm like, no, it's poetry, and he's be like, slap. He'd be saying like bunch of nonsense, like stupid stuff. But like Cardi, Thugger for me, Kendrick. I grew up on like Ludacris is one of the rappers I really liked a lot. Yeah,
underrated, man. Great MC. Man.
I was gonna say Luda, but I didn't.
Amazing, like he's actually amazing.
He just opened up for Janet Jackson last night, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's incredible.
Bangers after bangers too, but he can actually rap.
He had hits for days, and like that time he had the world in a chokehold.
Totally.
Back for the very first time, incredible album.
Was it Chicken and Beer?
Red Light District.
And he was already goated, and then like Fast and Furious stuff hit, and he was just like, now he's in the canon of like popular culture.
Totally.
Like, he's been goated.
He did Fear Factor too, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
But most of the stuff I like is like very modern. Kendrick being like across the board, everyone thinks Kendrick is probably the greatest rapper.
Yeah,
but
I love J. Cole too, man.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm a J. Cole fan.
He gets a lot of hate, and I'd be like, yo, J. Cole, he's lit. Yeah,
on
the record.
Really, really love 03 Greedo. I don't know if y'all know 03 Greedo. I think he's from Watts.
Yeah,
just like he
just flows.
Yeah, okay. He just did 5-year bid. A lot of people took the sauce while he was away.
Okay.
I say that. Like, he was just on the rise. I got to play with him right before he went in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but a lot of people just ran with his sound because he was, like, in prison, so.
Damn. I like Vince Staples, too, who's also drug-free.
Vince Staples.
Drug-free as well.
Yeah, Vince Staples, drug-free.
Yeah, man, LBC, man, yeah.
So, actually, like.
I love 4-2 Doug a lot. And then I used to love Tyler, the Creator, a lot. I mean, obviously, like, being like a black alt kid, he was like the pinnacle of like, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely still, like, his new stuff is definitely cool. But I was like, when I was getting into him organically, being like a punk and a metalhead is like that, like crazy. It was. I wouldn't say it was horrorcore or anything like that, but it was definitely
Those
like
videos were nuts. The first
it
one
was definitely
yeah.
crazy. Like eating the roaches and stuff was crazy, bro. Like, it was nuts.
And ill skateboarders, kids were ill skateboarders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he blended a lot of subcultures. That
Totally.
I was
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Tyler, I love that. I was saying that like Vince being drug free. Actually, my there's like because Vince is from Long Beach. I'm from Long Beach. My DJ is like really good friends with him. Nice guy, Vinny. But like he's also drug free. But there was like a group of these kids. Like
I think Tyler was too.
Yeah, and Lil Yachty too.
Wow,
Lil Yachty.
That's
yeah,
fucking
that's crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think like Tyler even claimed straight edge for a second. I read something a long time. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
he did.
That's so cool. I love all that shit. Like
Yeah.
like, for us, it was almost like hip hop, punk, hardcore. We go to all the things, but I like how over the years, like, you know, the original skateboard soundtracks was strictly punk rock. Then in the 90s, it was like hip hop soundtracks, and then like Stretch and Bobbito, and then everything just kind of meshed together. And I love that because we love that type of everything mixed. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful time for music.
I'm like really grateful for it. Also, because it gives me an audience. I mean, I like played the Zulu show the other day.
Yeah.
You know, like as a solo rapper, but
it's so
like
cool.
The response of like people being like, "Oh, yo, like I still feel this energy." Like that's beautiful to me. Like it's really cool.
I feel like I could talk to you guys for fucking hours.
Yeah,
bro.
I feel like this is like we're gonna have to do like part 2, 3, 4, 5,
I
6.
really want to, for real.
Yeah.
Like
we
I
just started a whole new
Even
podcast.
split
It's just
this
us.
into part 1 and part 2.
I know.
Yeah,
I fucking really love and appreciate you guys.
Sorry
what
to
you're
your
doing,
editor.
man.
Who's
Nah,
his name?
dude.
Joe.
No, this has been incredible,
Have
man.
a hell of a time.
you.
Just
Oh,
like to
yeah.
meet you guys and talk about this and just, you know, us being older 50 cats and this in the music scene.
It's
Just
definitely
just
enlightening.
appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys what you're doing.
Yeah,
It's beautiful to
man.
see.
It's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
Love being here. You know, thank you for the
I really
respect
appreciate it.
and the game and the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and there is no us without y'all. That's the crazy thing. So
Literally.
it's like
Literally.
it's strange to be sitting at this table. It's real strange.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Full circle moments.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
And but
great,
like,
man.
I mean, yeah, really, there is like without some of the things that both of y'all have done, there is no us. So
Thank you,
That's,
man.
man.
Let's definitely do a part 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm super down.
It'd be so
Maybe
nice, man.
You know,
Hell yeah.
and Anaya and Christina and Satra have
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
different perspectives than us. So
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
pretty,
No doubt.
But the
crazy,
record's
but-
out now, a new tomorrow.
a new tomorrow, you know, it's a blend, hardcore, power violence, hip hop,
It's awesome, man.
soul,
There's some beatdown
jazz,
stuff.
some
in there.
beat down.
I wish you had Hakim's here, like his voice to break down the record earlier when he was talking to him.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also shout out to Ricky and Flat Spot who are killing it right now.
Ricky
in the game
and
for
Shay.
hardcore.
Ricky and Shay and Jose too. Jose's an unsung hero of Flat Spot.
Okay.
But Ricky and Shay are just unreal.
Flat Spot got on
killing
lock,
it.
man. There's so many great bands on there. It's
Unreal.
so
Yeah,
cool.
I'm like really grateful, and it's funny because like when we first did the phone call to like reissue the EPs, I was just grilling them for like an hour. Like he was like, "Man, artists don't even ask these questions." I'm like, "Yeah, nigga," you know what I'm saying? But like I didn't expect it to be what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really really grateful for like the love and the honest like good work Flat Spot has put, you know, just into this and all their bands. Like it's really like
And they have some really good bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next tour for you guys? What's coming up?
Next month.
we're playing Adjacent Fest on the 27th with like Blink-182, Paramore, Soul Glow.
Oh, you playing with Paramore?
Yeah.
That's the homies. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's
And
awesome.
then we're
then,
gonna
That's
be
the
in-
Jersey one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick, Atlantic City, right? Yeah.
June 9th, we're going to be in Canada for a fest.
Oh yeah, and then
from then on, it's like June 15th, something like that, to like July 2nd, Europe.
I'll be with you guys. We
and
got
UK.
You got 2 shows with you guys over
Yeah,
there.
it's gonna be
2
sick.
festivals with
Oh,
Zulu.
that's
Yeah, I'm
dope.
stoked.
We got
and then
Europe
some
and
stuff
UK.
we can't announce yet. but
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Europe would be like the next long stint.
We're playing Hellfest, which I'm like
Dope.
so stoked.
Epic
on.
festival, man.
Oh my
Incredible.
God.
One
We
of
even
the
had a good
best.
show there. We
in
stood out
Europe.
like crazy. H2O on that
I
shit.
can't believe
It's
it.
super hard, but we had a great show there
I'm
once.
sure. the
Hellfest is dope,
French,
dude.
I
They
can't
know,
believe
They
know
appreciate it.
Yeah.
France
absolutely.
is crushing the hardcore right
France
now.
is crushing.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're very radical. They
Oh,
are like
yeah.
they did like a live stream interview with us, and the questions they were asking, I was like, you were trying to get us murked. Like, stop. Like, yo,
And there's pictures. We took pictures with them, and their faces are blurred.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
they're about it out there.
yeah. I was
Wow.
like, okay, y'all are on some
We're
different
probably
stuff.
on a watch list or something.
Yeah, I was like, yo, they're like, yeah, they just asked some questions where I was like, hey, man, don't ask people that ever in interviews.
Yeah.
I was like,
Fuck.
especially some Americans. Like, don't
Right.
ever. I'm like, you were like trying to get us murdered
Yeah.
by our
That's
government.
wild.
Like, you're crazy.
They're wild.
Yeah.
It was lit though.
Like the France dudes are lit. I was
They're
like, I
about
gotta stay
it,
away
really
from
about
y'all.
it. Yeah, there's a picture of us on like a stairwell in France. All got faces blurred out. I mean, we don't, but they all do. I was like, yo, they're like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Very gnarly kids, but they were asking
they're
some
sick.
heavy questions.
Yeah,
And like the conversations were very heavy. Where I'm like, oh, y'all aren't for play.
yeah,
Yeah. Which is like, that's like, you know, when you think about like how radical some people can be, and then I gotta come and think about like some dude hating on me for a Abolish White hardcore shirt. I'm like, you are like so out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I can't care, because
Right.
there's like crazier stuff happening.
Yeah,
true.
No doubt.
Any more questions for these young lads?
I don't think so, man.
This has been
I think we covered
amazing,
it
bro.
all.
No,
I've been
thank
so
you.
I've been looking forward to this and just
Yeah.
hanging with you guys today and Hakim being here and all Chappelle. It's been awesome, man. But definitely a part 2. I think we go really even more deeper.
I'm so down. I want to talk
Yeah.
about the '80s thrash stuff.
All right,
the
let's
90s
Yeah,
thrash
right
stuff,
on.
the groove metal.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll
we'll talk
say-
more hip hop for sure.
Yeah, I'm saying I bought like Alex
Oh yeah, yeah.
on like CD in like high school.
Really?
That was like
Wow.
that was one of the like first like heavier things I had gotten.
That's so
Was,
cool.
like, yeah.
It's such a interesting time period in the band.
Yeah.
It's this crazy transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's cool, man.
When are you back from tour?
Mid-June.
May 27th, you play the Wiltern.
Yes.
Okay.
With Creator
Sick.
and Death Angel.
Creator is one of my like top 5 favorite thrash bands.
Dude,
Like Pleasure to Kill.
Millie is he's a trip, man.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, yeah. Pleasure to Kill is like that's and
He's got a lot of knowledge,
of Hate.
man.
Flag of Hate is crazy too. That stuff is nuts.
Yeah, this guy goes all day. I'm like,
I thought
I'm like,
Chappelle was deep diving king.
no, I'm like, how do you even have time for this
Yeah.
stuff? Like, and he'll tell me about new stuff. I'm like,
Right.
when? We were together for the last month. Like, when? Like,
I was definitely like a liner notes person
Yeah.
growing up, and then VH1
All the thank
Classic,
yous, the shout outs, all that
Oh,
shit.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
for us.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
so
yeah,
important, man.
definitely.
Eddie Trunk, that metal show.
Yes.
I watched it every week
Really?
Damn.
'cause I love VH1 Classic. I loved it. Like it's gone now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorites. And remember Metal Mania at night?
I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Yeah.
Metal Mania, the block of like the metal videos and stuff. I would watch it because it was like 12 to 2 or 3, something like that. And me and Dez being insomniacs and everything. I've been in insomniacs. I would always watch all that stuff. I loved it. Like that's my bread and butter, honestly.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really sick.
I love it, man.
Excellent.
I appreciate it.
we're
everybody.
gonna let y'all go. We're gonna get off mic, and I'm gonna show you something crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for being here. People can
Thank
find
you so much
on,
for having
on
us.
Instagram, your band, and you have a website too, probably, or is there a Zulu
Yeah,
website?
blackpowerviolence.com. I think right now we kind of bricked the site to do some revamping, but
Okay.
there's usually merch up there and music videos and stuff. And then we've got Black Power Violence on Instagram, Zulu Los Angeles on Twitter.
Dez has the greatest username of all time.
Yo, I'm internet nigga on Instagram. You can get at me. I'm oh hey nigga on Twitter. OH
Oh
hey
my-
nigga.
I'm King Braxton's son. I'm sorry I don't have any clever, usernames.
I'm like the
Holy
username
shit.
go. I have like 30 of them just like locked
Ready?
away. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. I'm like the username go.
Locked and ready.
Fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. This has been an awesome
Thank you
conversation,
so
man. I learned a
much.
lot, man.
Thanks
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace.
Peace. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. that sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations, U.S., Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology, cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.